welcome to the Morning Connection. This is the day after Valentine's Day, and of course, you know who is not in the studio yet. So, Pastor Percival, we trust you are making your way here slowly and carefully. Good morning to you. I hope you're tuned into the station so I can keep your company until you're here. First, of course, good morning to all our listeners, those who have joined us for the first part of the show. This is perhaps the hardest part, so I am especially grateful for your company. Thank you also to those who are joining us online. We are streaming on every available social media platform. Kudos to the producer for making sure that we have the widest possible representation. And good morning to the team in the house, Mr. Engineer, Mr. Producer. Thank you also to those who are joining us online. Neither of you allowed the festivities of Valentine's Day to keep you from your position this morning. All right. Well, in truth, we know that Percival is a few minutes out. So I am going to take advantage of his absence to do just a little catching up with you on something that has been I woke up with it in my head and I've not been able to put it down. So I'm just going to put it down together. You all know that was it Sunday night or, yes, I think Sunday evening, the courthouse in Brownstown was gutted, burnt out. And if you were watching the news, you would have seen that the Chief Justice visited the site and he sought to reassure persons that services in the administration of justice for that part of the country will continue, notwithstanding what would be considered a devastating loss by any measure. Perhaps it is that which caused me to think somewhat about the administration of justice. What is the template for it? What should it be delivering? And if there is a gap created by an adversity such as a fire, how do we ensure that the needs of our citizens are met, without imposing undue burdens on them? And just coincidentally, this morning, I was taken to what I have always known is the template for the administration of justice. So I'm inviting you to take a look with me in the book of Exodus, chapter 18, and it's verses 13 to 23. Most of you who study this kind of material know that Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, a Midian priest, paid him a visit in the early days of the newly established society out there in the wilderness, observed what was happening and made a recommendation on how Moses ought to proceed, a recommendation which Moses accepted, and a suggestion which we see reflected in even the skeleton, the bare bones of our own structure. That's what I would like to talk about a little bit before Pastor Percival joins me. So I'm going to read it and just kind of refresh your memory, and then I'll dive into the observations that I want you to pull from it. So this is now, they visited, the first day was worship, of sacrifices were offered and so on. And on the next day, Moses took his seat to serve as judge for the people. And they stood around him from morning till evening. When his father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he said, "What is this you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit as judge, while all these people stand around you from morning till evening?" Sound familiar? Anybody who has been to court at 10 o'clock and have to wait until their matter is called and see the crowds that hang around the courts? Yeah. Moses answered him, "Because the people come to me to seek God's will. Whenever they have a dispute, it is brought to me, and I decide between the parties and inform them of God's decrees and instructions." Moses' father-in-law replied, "What you are doing is not good. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God be with you. You must be the people's representative before God and bring their disputes to him. Teach them his decrees and instructions, and show them the way they are to live and how they are to behave. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases they can decide themselves. That will make your load lighter because they will share it with you. If you do this, and God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied. All right. Of course, as I was reading it, I'm sure all of you were catching in the spirit what it is that we're about to say. From the inception of our time on this show, the administration of justice has been a key focus, largely because, like everybody else, we know that if people are satisfied with the treatment that they experience at the hands of each other and at the hands of the state, then less crime, more production, better educated people, and in the overall, better living. And that's what we're aiming for. How we accomplish it has been a matter of, I think, great dispute and dissatisfaction. Even for my own self, working at various levels of the system, I have seen and experienced how difficult it can be. But here are the highlights of what we should be looking for in how we conduct this aspect of our business. One, justice must be timely, and the administration of it should show care and concern for people's convenience and suffering. People standing around all day waiting can only lead to some very sore tempers. Secondly, people look to justice or the system of justice in order to ascertain the will of God. That is why you go to a judge, or that is why you go to someone above you in a situation that you expect to be wiser. And I'm going to talk about who are the players in the administration of justice, because too often we limit the meaning of administration. Thirdly, the judge is expected to inform disputing parties of the decrees and instructions of God in a particular matter. So two people go, and what they're looking for is a just adjudication of the issues, of those specific issues. We are a precedent-based jurisprudence because it is accepted that God is unchanging in his ways, and therefore the principles and the decrees that apply to one situation that is similar to your situation are sound. So you can use the previous adjudication of a matter as a guide in how you would adjudicate on your matter, or how you would resolve your matter. Then justice must be administered so as to avoid frustration, exhaustion, and undue burden on the people, on the judge, and on the society. So when we see here situations where judges are underpaid, that is undue burden on them. When you see people have to wait too long for decisions from the judges, that is undue burden on the people. And that is also indications of frustration and exhaustion. So your system of justice must be well resourced so that it is not kept under pressure. The administration of justice is not a solo effort. It requires the participation of other skilled persons. Jethro's first observation to Moses was, why are you alone sitting as judge? Not a solo effort. Later on, of course, he told him, you need to select men, capable men, trustworthy men. Well, women too, of course, because that's what we have mostly in Jamaica these days. The administration of justice, those who operate in the field, whatever level you occupy, enjoy a delegated authority as the people's representative before God. Their decisions must reflect godly wisdom. So judges are not operating solely by contractual imperative because the governor general or the prime minister appoint them. No, You are carrying out a function, which is a godly function. It is a part of what God does for his people, provide justice and resolve situations between them. So one, you must recognize your representative capacity and operate within that framework. And two, the output of your efforts must reflect the wisdom of God. I'm speaking to the judges and the policemen and the justices of the peace and all those who are in decision-making positions that affect the livelihood of citizens. The administrators of justice, let me go back on that. The administration of justice includes teaching people the decrees and instructions of God. So where you see the Ministry of Justice getting involved in consultations on the law and seeking to communicate to people what the objectives are, and it is a necessary function that you teach people. This principle that ignorance of the law is no defense is confined to when you are actually standing before the judge. But when you are outside, the system must include provisions for people to learn the law and to know the law. The reason why ignorance is no defense is because the ignorance is your fault. We should have, in the provisions we make for society, given you the information to allow you to know the law so that when you are ignorant, you can be punished because you did not avail yourself of the knowledge that is there. We are failing dismally on that front, I think, and that's an area that we need to touch on. And as we are going into the break, I just want to leave you with these last two. In teaching on the law, we must teach people how to live and how to behave. And those who are in the system must be capable persons drawn from all the people. All of us should see ourselves reflected in those who are a part of the system that administers justice. And the character, the integrity of those persons is at the heart of the service they give. They must be persons who are honest and who can be trusted to carry out the function with discipline and diligence. And so we come to our 6:30 break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales for a better time.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
We're committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Prepared. Listen to ADPEM. A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in. Best 100 FM.
Melody in our voice. Kamisha plays the music nice. Melody in our voice. Kamisha full of vibes. Best FM run the town. Yes, I run the town. Hear me loud and clear. They run the country and the town. Or the far and near. Bless the love into to Empress Kamisha. On Best FM, and it's all about the reset, Mondays to Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. on Best FM. Keep it locked. This is Warrior King, the Black Emperor. Come on, tune in.
The
Virtual Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hackett Park Road. Virtual Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. This is your host, Minute Lawrence, soldiering on alone until Pastor Percival shows up, and experiencing, carrying, feeling a bee in the bonnet on the business of the administration of justice. Sparked somewhat by watching the courthouse on fire and then seeing the building gutted and empty, seeing the papers or the charred remains of what was on the ground, and recognizing that the loss of documents, the displacement of the court, will mean severe inconvenience and hardship for those who work there, persons who are in custody who are expecting their matters to be dealt with, persons who are, charged with offenses and awaiting trial, whether they're on bail or not, persons who want to start new claims and now have to at least wait until the court is sufficiently resourced to begin managing that service again. There are just so many ways in which the destruction of that building will impact the life of the persons in the community, the surrounding areas. And it just got me thinking about the importance of these structures which form part of the administration of justice. And I think even as I reflect on it, I am taken back to a call which I received from one of our listeners in Trial, community called Trial, St. Elizabeth, yesterday. And the sound of distress and the anxiety and the frustration that I got in her voice as she spoke about the terror under which her community is existing because men of unscrupulous, dishonest character have inhabited the community. They are sleeping in the day and preying on the community in the night. And I am telling you, that phone call, I believe, is a turning point for something, because we have put a command out there in spirit. Right, Pastor Percival? Sneaking in and trying to look as if you were here all the time. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome, Pastor Percival.
That's what we did.
Yes, we have put a word out there, and I guarantee you, I have no doubt about it, that things have shifted in that community, and there are more things that we need to do, because we have to be partners in ensuring that justice is done across this country. Doesn't matter where you are. So, good morning to you, Miss Pamela, to your family there in Trial. Your cry went up. When you called this program, you were doing something a little more spiritual than just making a phone call. We are very concerned that if we do not intervene as fellow citizens, there are parts of Jamaica that will be abandoned. I mean, there are parts in Jamaica, in the city area, that seem to be abandoned already to the lawlessness of those who operate in the dark. But you know what? It will not happen in the countryside. That is the decree and declaration from the Morning Connection this morning. What time is it? 6:37 a.m. And we say it shall not be so. If a group of people coming out of slavery could manage to organize themselves in the desert and to have some semblance of a system that administered justice, and not a semblance really, established a way of administering justice that has survived to this day, we see it at work in our society, then by God, we can retake one community down in the heartland of St. Elizabeth. So Trial, we're coming to you. Why am I saying all this? I want Jamaicans to recognize that it is within our capability to help ourselves on this path. In the community of Brownstone, to all intents and purposes, there's no court. So what? They've had to find an alternative place. And in the course of this week, they are going to have to be ingenious and diligent and caring about the welfare of each other to make the system come back into some level of performance. Everybody in that environment is going to have to carry a little part of it. So it is, I'm saying, the rest of us need to look around us, gain some understanding of what we expect to see and what ought to be apparent in our society. As we look at how public goods are administered, when we see situations of unfairness or situations of corrupt and dishonest behavior, call it out for what it is. Listen, be relentless and find a way to shine a light on the things we're seeing that are going wrong, because we are not going to be able to retake our society unless it becomes an important imperative for all of us. As making a list of the persons to whom I am speaking specifically this morning in terms of those who are already a part of the administration of justice. Many times we think it's just the judges and maybe the court staff, but I'm broadening it to include all the staff, all the personnel who are employed in the public sector. Because in your job, you are administering a little piece of the justice that people look for in how their lives are organized in this society. I'm being rude. Good morning, Pastor Percival. Let me hear your voice.
Good morning. Good morning to those who are out there. Hallelujah. God is a good God.
So,
it's all about what happened yesterday. God is still a good God. Yeah.
What do you mean still a good God? He was on trial yesterday. I acquitted him.
Some of the times you wonder, but as we were talking at the end of the show,
Were you listening to me in the car?
My car don't have them kind of things. I was just listening to in the spirit.
Oh, okay. So you heard all the things I said about you?
No.
Okay, all right.
You always say good things about me, so I mean, don't worry about that at all.
Well, the people are expecting a report.
As to what happened this morning.
No, not what happened this morning. We assume is what happened yesterday.
Oh,
Valentine's Day. Delayed you this morning.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah, man, it was good. Present on side, both sides, but it was okay. Just that I had two emergencies yesterday. One of my clients.
Because you say clients, do you mean someone in your pastoral care?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just I've got some frantic calls from friends. I said, been not hearing from her. So I had to go find her.
And you did?
I find her, and that's a big chunk of the afternoon. And then another friend called and I said, my car overheating. What am I going to do? This is in the night. So to find mechanic and all of them things. And so it was an interesting afternoon. It always is,
It's not the afternoon I was hoping to hear about, but
yeah, but love was in the air anyway. But
as you say,
yeah. But you raise an important point in regards to community and what has happened in Brownstone and what happened with that distress call that we got yesterday morning, and we responded in terms of releasing some things in the atmosphere in terms of taking authority. But on the ground, we were saying there are some things that people can do to help themselves. They are not helpless. They are not helpless. And one or two coming together, remember, we know that one chases 1,000, two chases 10,000. That is what happens spiritually. And I was just thinking about, you looked at it with David, when he did the census, and he had to
being punished.
Yeah, but one of the things that came out of that, and as I was reflecting on it early this morning, because I was up early, and then is that the people have to recognize that their true resource is not in themselves, but in the God that they believe in. And when they think that, because the backdrop that Israel was such a small nation, and David was winning all of these mighty victories, and then him say, "Oh, I mean,
Look like my army good.
yeah, man. I mean,
Let's see how many of them I have."
And the person said to him, "Don't do that, because you are shifting the attention from who has really been your source of help to yourself, thinking that you have the power." So even as communities rise up, I challenge a listener yesterday to say, "Okay, you are like that. How many people in your community are like you? If it's 2 or 3, that is sufficient to begin a movement to say, no, man, we will not have this in our community. And we're going to come together, and then we're going to bring the spiritual input, which is when the one chases 1,000, shoot 10,000, and you summon the host of heaven and say, all right, now, we want you to fight." And some people say that this folklore or just something in our heads, but it is not. When you read stories of people in the thick of situations, and like 10 of them, and then there's a story of the bandits coming and saying, "We are going to wipe out these people." But then they understood. They said when they went to wipe them out, they saw the 10 people, but they saw 100 people. And this is somebody who was confirming afterwards, because he got converted in the situation. So when we came to kill you that night, we knew there were 10 because we were tracking you. But then when we wanted to come into the camp, we saw 100 people. And the 100 people were not normal. In that the host of heaven.
You're speaking of a real incident.
Yeah, it's a real incident.
Okay.
Yeah.
You must share with me.
Yeah, so it was saying, no. And the guy who got converted afterwards said, on the night in question, we came to destroy you. But when we came to your camp, we thought it was 10 of you, but we saw 110. And the other 100 people that we saw were tall. And yeah, we call on the supernatural. The angels who are at our bidding to come and fight and help us. So we're not alone. You are not alone in trial. You are not alone in the inner city. You're not alone. You just have to know where the source of your power is and go for it.
Well said, sir.
I know I shifted the narrative.
No, you didn't. That's exactly where we're. Oh, because you weren't listening, I shall brief you afterwards. But the point, one of the points I made is that persons who operate in the field of the administration of justice enjoy, or they are exercising a delegated authority as the people's representative before God. Their decisions must reflect godly wisdom. And you came and tapped into that vein, namely that the power that they have access to and the authority that they are utilizing is supernatural.
Yeah, it is.
So it's capable of
shifting,
all kinds of things beyond the immediate comprehension of man. And it's good for you to know that, so that one, you operate with due reverence for it. Listen,
and so never can't corrupt you
and therefore you will not be vulnerable to corruption and improper suggestions by the powerful. Whenever I have an experience in court where, and usually I feel it, whenever a perverse decision is coming at me, I mean, I just get such a feeling of fear, because I know that the person who has allowed themselves to be drawn is gonna be punished. Maybe just put it that way, punished. So my great fear, by fear I mean more reverence. I am so careful of the power of God that I don't want to make the mistake. I don't want to be the person to step on that mine. I don't want to be the one for it to explode under my feet, because I know that it is devastating. So when persons sit in positions of authority and have this responsibility and they don't treat in the right way, look, the whole country is suffering now because of those kinds of mistakes. The whole country. Yeah,
and even as leaders, as I was reading in my reflections this morning, that says, be so careful, be so careful. remember you're accountable to God, but you're accountable to the people that you have responsibility for. And God is not deceived.
Yeah. All right. So that was very live, but clearly not just me. Pastor was having similar feelings about it, and it is why I have spoken to you as I did this morning, just reminding us that the overall business of administering justice, which is just fairness and equity between people in the dispensation of all things, how we speak to each other, how we treat each other in contract, how we treat each other when we are co-creators, how we treat each other in relationships, whether it's husband and wife, employer and employee, whatever it is, justice is always involved.
Yeah,
because people expect to be treated with respect, with fairness, and just as we expect it, others have an expectation of the same thing. Now, it's kind of weird because even that was occupying my mind. There was another thing that kept coming into my spirit, and I'm going to share that too because I think they are twins. When you operate with that level of carefulness, wanting to be sure that others are treated well, it generates another response that operates to your benefit now. I'm going to read it I'm going to use the King James Version because that's what I kind of sat up with it. And the question is, what shall men pour into your bosom? It's not a question you want to wake up with. I'm like, what? What shall men pour into my bosom? No. Anyway, it starts with, judge not, and ye shall not be judged. I was talking about administration of justice. Condemn not, and you shall not be condemned. Forgive, and you shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together, and running over shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that you mete out, it shall be measured to you again. So that closes the circle for me because it's saying to me that when I can operate in the administration of justice in a godly way, giving to others as they deserve and require, then I shall receive.
And you're going to get it pressed down and shaken
together,
most
running
of the time
over.
We read that, we think of just money, but it's talking about what you do in response to others, if monetarily, in terms of relationship, in terms of everything. So the same measure,
yes,
that you give, you'll get it back.
Yep.
Good.
If you're a good loving spouse, you get it back.
Yeah.
If you're a good loving mother or parent, you get it back. If you're an employee who gives diligently and with excellence, you get it back. And living with the expectation that it will come back means that even if it is slow in coming,
it's gonna come back.
Just don't give up.
Yeah, it's gonna
come.
And so therefore, Stephanie Lahart says, talking about community.
And I take it that's a black woman.
It's a black woman, a black coat. Yes,
All right.
It is.
You remember the basics.
Yes, our black boys matter. I encourage you all to invest in our black male youth by inspiring, celebrating, and empowering them. They need our wisdom, love, support, encouragement, direction, and positive examples to follow. Let's support and encourage our young kings in becoming confident, knowledgeable, strong, well-rounded, and powerful black men with integrity. It's imperative we up for greatness early on in life. Let's change the narrative of raising broken black males. Let us raise our black boys, be black men that rock in every area of their life. It's up to us to prepare, teach, educate, and empower them. What do I say that?
So who's that lady now? You gotta tell me who she is.
Stephanie. She's in community.
And why you chose her?
Because this morning I spoke
Jamaican?
on, no, she's American. Okay. Yeah, but what I thought about was crime and violence. And the statistics tell us that we have a problem because most of our persons who are dying are young men who are under 25. They are the targets and they are the perpetrators. What is that keeps us as a country perpetuating the crime and violence? And it is something that has gone wrong in terms of how we have raised our young men. What have we raised them to be? Have we told them that they are powerful and strong and can accomplish anything? Or is it you can't do anything? And I'm just reflecting in terms of what I have done, personally, other men.
Not your prince.
not only with my princess, but with the young men that I encounter on a daily basis, because my alma mater is Calabar, and we have invested time. We never had to do it as we call ourselves old boys, to go back to the school.
You are old boys.
Yeah. No, man, we have people.
Old men.
No, we call it old boys. Or the other word is alumni. We've invested in the last 10 years, or even before that, because I've been involved, where we're saying, we know we have a problem in Jamaica. That's what the statistics tell us, at-risk young people in our country. And we've invested once a week for we go to the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11s, trying to roll it out. But we focus on those who are the lower levels in school, the grade 7 to 9s. And then once a week, we just go back and we are sharing with them. And it was just a good feeling for me yesterday. After I left, I went to school back and I was just interacting. And so I'm just, what, sir? And just fist bumping and good to see you. And you remember this, sir, you remember that. And I just applaud COBA, the Calabar Old Boys Association, and especially John Messam, who is deceased, in terms of saying, no, man, we got to do something. And in fact, if you talk to the teachers, the people involved, that change the ethos, the environment of the school, and seeking to inspire the young men to greatness, because we're in community. We are in community, and we recognize that we have a responsibility of paying it forward in terms of what we do. And across Jamaica, I'm just calling out our men.
All right, so here's one of the things I said earlier too that you're touching on. In the administration of justice, there is a need for us to teach people the decrees and instructions of God, how to live and how to behave.
Yeah.
And you're highlighting that. Referring it, of course, to the work of the Old Boys Association.
The general men, in terms of inspiring.
One of the things then that we need to emphasize is how to make that approach, how to bring the benefits of that approach to everybody. Whether you have not everybody have an Old Boys Association.
Just everybody in community, building of leadership, of passing on values.
Right.
The right set of values, the right set of inspiration, behavior with each other. Yeah. That's an important thing. I call her, keep saying that. Go back to the family. And more people are waking up to that reality. Go back to the family, fix the family. And a lot of the challenges we're having as a nation will be fixed. It's a long-term thing, but there are some things you can do presently.
Well, I think we could broaden the call a little bit. And I'm reflecting on the conversation we had about that little community down in St. Elizabeth. We said, how many churches are down there? There are 5 churches. Are plenty of churches?
Yeah.
Okay. We have talked about mobilizing church leaders to get into the trenches of their communities and begin the kind of activism that will change things. I don't know if you had any conversation with anyone after, not yet. But I think even as we are on air now, we can begin to make the suggestions on the kind of activities that churches should commence. Speaking now to the leadership of the churches in Jamaica, when you look around your community and you see, I can describe a community that is under oppression. The streets are dirty. The grass is overgrown almost everywhere. When you look at it, it doesn't look as if it is, the word manicured. It don't look manicured. Hedges trimmed or whatever it is that would make a community look as if the people who are there care about more than up to their gate. There's a look that you see in communities that tells you persons have a care for the community as opposed to their little individual stake that they own there. Garbage, you see it on the roads and the gutters, or if there's an empty lot, that's where people throw stuff and it's just left there. Nobody dig a hole and bury it or burn it, or that is another sign of it. When you look at the street corners, you're seeing young men and young women at all hours of the day. It seems that they are not occupied in any productive endeavor. The third thing you'll see is that the homes in the communities, you're going to see rusty zinc and buildings, falling down. And we're not talking about looking for opulence and, electronic gates and so on. We're talking about clean houses, well painted if a paint job is needed, the eaves not hanging and the paint not peeling, and there's a look of decay that you see in some communities, and usually too loud music blaring from every corner. You're hearing music at a level that defies reasonable enjoyment. Any community you go into and you see that look, that community is under some form of oppression. And you can check the news and see the incidents of violence that are typically reported in that community, with abuse against children, women, and you check it, most of the men are in prison, or all kinds of things are happening. If you are operating in one such community, when we return from the break, the Morning Connection have some advice for you, things you need to do. Let's take our break.
We'll be right back. The Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, has a wealth of information that can help new and existing entrepreneurs grow their businesses. The only issue issues that entrepreneurs have to either call or visit the JBDC office to access the help they need. But what if this information was available on demand at your fingertips? That's the goal of the JBDC's newly launched Entrepreneurship Weekly blog.
We want to get them thinking about a particular idea, a particular concept. We want to get conversations going around it. We want to spur them into action. And the ultimate goal, which is a common goal shared by everyone with an interest in business and the MSME sector, is growth. And growth for the entrepreneurs themselves, growth for their businesses, and ultimately growth for the Jamaican economy.
Corporate Communications Manager at JBDC, Suzette Campbell. She says the blog comes at an opportune time, as business owners are hungry for helpful information.
Particularly since COVID-19, there's a heightened need for awareness in terms of business development strategies and so on. People want to know what's going on. People are always online. They are on their mobile phones or their computers or their tablets searching for information. And when they search for business development related issues, we want them to keep JBDC top of mind. We want them to not just Google, but to also come to the JBDC website at www.jbdc.net and find information relating to business development.
The information on the blog will be easy to understand, so entrepreneurs can apply the lessons immediately.
So, for example, we started with the topic entrepreneurship trends to look out for in 2022, part 1, which went into issues such as digital marketing, the fact that more than ever entrepreneurs need to heighten their visibility online through digital marketing strategies. We also took a look at booming industries.
The weekly blog will also complement the suite of training workshops offered to entrepreneurs.
Training comes in various forms. It doesn't have to be a workshop. A blog is a form of training. It is knowledge sharing. Knowledge sharing is big globally, and JBDC takes its role in that process very seriously, because we do have several business development experts in the organization who are experts in product development, market access, research, business canvassing, and so on.
Entrepreneurs can look forward to new articles on the blog every Monday, and access is free to the public.
We have some interesting topics coming up, looking at, for example, the Jamaican Entrepreneurs Startup Pack, the 5 lies small business people tell themselves, the case for agro-processing in Jamaica, so you'll see that it is serious and pertinent information, but with a lighter, more palatable twist. And the persons who are subscribed to our mailing list will get it automatically when it's released.
The articles will also be shared on the JBDC social media pages.
If they follow us on LinkedIn, they will find the articles over there as well. LinkedIn is not just a place for job searching anymore. And we recognize that entrepreneurship is as good a career as any. And so JBDC is taking its place in that space and making its mark on LinkedIn. So you'll find these articles on there on a weekly basis, as well as other information about entrepreneurship that takes a spin as it relates to career development.
Corporate Communications Manager JBDC, Suzette Campbell. So, while you're building your business, be sure to add the JBDC's Entrepreneurship Weekly blog to your list of go-to resources whenever you need to stay up to date with the latest business development trends. To access the blog, visit jdbdc.net.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
My mother always tell me that man has carried you through the world. Well, I gotta tell you this, a true. And man has me did have when I get a chance to do over my subjects them when I never pass none. My friend them goes out to school and say the teacher them never teach them nothing. But remember, my mother tell me say, I'm gonna go to my guidance counselor and ask for a second chance. And here I am today, voicing ads and writing scripts for the biggest radio stations. Yeah man, manners teach you respect, and with respect, any good thing you aim for, you can get.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in. Best 100 FM.
Make me your radio.
Hey, am I listening, crew? This is your late afternoon companion to Shikalu on your 100 FM dial. Make sure you tune in and turn up every Tuesdays from 5 o'clock to 7 p.m. for OTAWTL. That is on the ear with me, yours truly. A program that will leave you inspired, entertained, and informed. For the credit giveaways each week. Street Link, where we go in the streets to find out from the people what is hot and what is not, and so much more. And guess what? You can now voice your birthday shout-outs on our WhatsApp line at 876-538-9442, and we'll play them live on air. So what are you waiting for? Turn up Tuesdays from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on Best 100 FM, the station that is sizzling every day.
The Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hackett Park Road. Vijay Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back to the Morning Connection. Percy is here, and I have given him a job, being the senior pastor in this room. Some people think I'm a pastor, so you stay there.
Oh, that's great.
Better than being a lawyer, for sure.
It is.
Of course it is. But mind you, pastors were the original lawyers, or lawyers were the original pastors.
Whichever one.
Because the law was in separate.
Yeah, it
from
was.
the,
in the Jewish community.
In the Jewish community, you had to know the law in order to teach in synagogue. So, anyway, we are creating a blueprint, a template, if you will, to take back our communities in the spiritual realm. So, Pastor, I have to start that, obviously. I bow to your seniority, sir.
So we must always understand that there is always a spiritual component is what we see manifested in the physical realm. And there's something in communities that a lot of people, they do a spiritual mapping of the community. What are the antecedents? What are the things that happened in the community? Because if you don't go in and break down what is there, destroy, we call it altars, that are within the community, then you have strongholds. Strongholds. In communities, has there been bloodshed? It's shedding of innocent blood. Have there been practices that really that don't speak well of the community? So even some communities, you go in, like when we go into St. Elizabeth and you have Lover's Leap. You remember the story of Lover's Leap?
Yes.
Yes. To understand what are the spiritual components of what has happened in the community. Having done the spiritual mapping of the community now, the persons who have spiritual authority now need to come together and begin to, we call it prayer walks. Walk through the community. And you know that because you've done that in recent times in a community. You just mobilize the persons who have a spiritual faith in God, who is very much interested in what is happening in that community, and they need to come together. That's why unity is important. Because a city decided against itself cannot stand. So those who, as it were, name the name of Christ need to come together to work. Because when you begin to do that, so you do the spiritual mapping, you put aside, like all the doctrinal positions, but we are people under God. Let's come together because we believe that God has called this community into being. Let's work together, do the spiritual walk, and then now begin in your spiritual authority to take control, dismantle, destroy strongholds so it can be done. Because Jesus says, if you want to take a city, you have to do what? Bind the strong man. Destroy the power that if not
even a house, you have to bind the strong
man in order to take control. So if you see your community as a house, housing all of the different persons there, then you have to bind up the strong man, destroy it and take responsibility. When you bind the strong man and destroy what he has done you have to replace it with things that are even better. Because if you don't do that,
you come back more vigorous than, and then now he's upset.
Yes. You say more vigorous, he come back wickeder.
Or they say bring 7.
Yeah.
If he'd hunt for 7 of his good mates who are together. Worse than him.
And then now we talk about sustainability. What are the elements that are needed to sustain peace within your community? What are the things that you need in terms of what I call the governmental authorities that you need to work with in terms of to ensure that what you have done from the spiritual realm is sustained in terms of the physical manifestation. If there's unemployment, what do we need to do to create employment? If there are other things that we know are maladies in the community, what are the things that we need to do to ensure that the community now begins to thrive and to prosper?
All right. So I did a kind of a practical, maybe scheme. The first thing I'm recommending that you do, and I'm speaking to every man, and I'm speaking to each individual and to every man as a collective. Take pictures and videos of your community. Walk around your community and take snapshots of what it looks like now. You are going to need it later for the comparison.
The
because you're going to see the change. So that is the first thing. The second thing you should do it on paper and then do it on the ground. Organize a cross-denominational group to lead the process. What I did when I was looking at a community, I called around to find out all the churches in the community of the different stripes. And I had put together a little note to send to the leader of each church to suggest that a kind of a fusion, a group, associate themselves in prayer, because it was to start with prayer. That's why we went at the churches. So just all of the churches in your area, make a list of them, get ways of contact, whether text message, email, whatever, phone call, to make your pitch. I want to do something to recapture my community, to recover the life, the spirit of my community, and I'm looking for partners. It begins with a vision. Just as if you were going to do a business plan, it's the same thing, no different. It begins with a vision. What do I want to see in my community? Because you have taken the pictures, you know the things you want to see change. It may be that you know the things I want to see cleaner streets. I want to create a park for the children. I want to do something that you want to see to transform the life of the community. But you must have a vision of what your community should be like. You pitch that vision to the different persons, churches that you're talking to. That vision must be reduced to prayer points. If you want to learn how to create a prayer point, either of us, Percy, myself, can help. Once you have your vision and you want to reduce it into prayer points, much the way you create resolutions for yourself or personal declarations, you need prayer points coming out of the vision. Once you have your prayer points, then you share it. So now understand that in this day, you don't need to be all in one room having a prayer meeting. If you have the same prayer points and you are in agreement on those points, then that becomes that becomes a meeting place, because it is a spiritual event that you're organizing. So it's critical that you get your prayer points. Don't be too, if you're new at this, you can start small and say, all right, I just want 5 points.
Yeah.
Because 5 points, most people can meditate on it. And when I do prayer points, I find a scripture to anchor each prayer point, because you're saying, it is the will of God that my community have this or have that. It is the will of God for men to prosper and live well together. It is the will of God for families to be united and to be loving and strong. And each of those things, you can find a scripture which embodies a statement of what it is that you're looking to do. So do 5 or so prayer points anchored in scripture. Circulate that in your group. Your group don't have to be big. If it's big, 2 or 3 people.
That's what the word.
Just make sure it's not you one. Because what did I say about the administration of justice? It is not a solo event.
It is not.
So you're not sitting alone. Just make sure you have company. Get your prayer points out. Set your cycle. If you're fasting and praying, then a minimum of 3 days is what I would say. Mind you, depending on how severe the problem is, just like if you go to a doctor and you have an infection, the treatment is proportionate to the severity of the illness. So if you know that things are really chronic, then you're gonna need more, but you don't have to start with more. You can just start with bite size. So if you're gonna fast and pray for 3 days, say we're gonna fast and pray. While you're doing that, there are some practical things then that you have to do. So you've got your prayer points and you have your group. Then the next thing would be what Pastor called the spiritual mapping. You're going to walk through your community. No, I'm not saying you're going to wrap your head and take a staff and walk through the community, stopping at people's door and dropping words in prayer.
No, we're not talking about
irritating your neighbor by praying loudly about the sins of the people. No.
Corporate, you're breaking
because the spiritual mapping is your walkthrough to see where are the areas of weaknesses that I need to address and what do I want to see here. If it is, if you're walking down a street that always have music that's too loud,
that's a point.
And you want your neighbor to develop a greater understanding of how this inconveniences other people, then you check out the different locations and you seek to get an understanding of why things are the way they are in this area. Sometimes the person don't even know that the music too loud. Sometimes is one person have their music loud and the other person turn up theirs so they could hear theirs, and it is a domino effect. And really, if the first offender turns his down, everybody would dial it back. I'm just saying. So your spiritual mapping and your walkthrough is to identify the areas in your community that require attention of a particular type. The other thing too is when you're walking through, assuming it is safe to do so, because some things you won't tackle on the first day until you're well fortified in the spirit. But when you're walking through, you're giving some visibility to your intent. Persons might say, what are you doing down here? So I say, what are you doing down here some minute? Whatever. I'm just checking to see where are the areas that we can start some work on. And then a conversation will evolve that can bring you some partners. So the walkthrough is an important part of giving visibility to your intent and attracting partners. The next thing is the issue of sustainability, because when you walk through, identify your areas and said, all right, I can start with this or that small project. You then begin to look, well, how do I make sure that it can survive or continue? So you need partners. Sustainability is about succession planning and partnership. Who will take it up after me and how will it be funded so it can survive?
Okay.
Identify the non-governmental organizations, as Pastor said. Look for the volunteer groups that are at work in the area. If none are at work, next week we are going to do our session on how to start your own NGO.
CBO, community-based.
Or community-based organization.
All right. So what is interesting and people can see it for themselves is 1995, Cali, Colombia revival. You remember Colombia was the
They were
cocaine.
killing judges and prosecutors
and you know
and
what?
kidnappings.
And what this is a documented thing. You can go online and it just starts with one man having a vision. He says, what we're talking about really is a revival in communities.
I wasn't using the word revival lest I frighten the people who are interested. Later on, they would realize that it's a revival.
No, but what it is a revival of things that were, because some people speak. Some people speak about what it used to be. And there are some good things that used to be. Communities used to be in cohesion and harmony. Yes. And the question is, what has caused that happen? That is why you have to understand where has that change, because people living in unity and in oneness and caring about their neighbor is something that all of us can identify with across religion, across denominational lines. And it's about what happened and it was the Time magazine, and this is, people can search it out. Time magazine cover July 1, 1991. It says, Cocaine Incorporated, the new drug kings, cold-blooded and efficient. Colombia's Cali cartel has cornered the market. Can they even be stopped? That was the headline. And what they did, they detailed what happened. The most violent country in the world, greatest export of cocaine, drug cartel control the country, was the richest and well organized, and then they juxtaposed what was the condition of the church in terms of 2 million people, 50,000 Christians. They were not working in unity, which is an important element in terms of bringing about the change. You gotta be united around a vision of what it is that they want in their community. They went back to business as usual, independent, weak and fragmented, and so on. And
That's the church.
that was
the church is the one that's weak and fragmented.
Right.
Okay.
And it all started with this guy who says, no man, we gotta do it. And you know, interestingly, they formed what they call 1,000 trumpets were formed. This was a group of simple people praying, 2 to 3 people from different churches. You put that in the plan.
Yes, man.
And
Yeah, it has to be some denomination.
Right. And they did that. And what happened? They had an all-night prayer vigil. The gentleman who led it eventually died, and he was prepared for it.
You mean they eventually killed him?
Yeah.
Yes, said died like him, like Jacob being put up in legs and
No, they
crawled
killed
into
him.
his
He
bed.
was assassinated.
Yes.
Yeah, assassinated. But then with prayer, because I tell people all the time, real change begins with
Spirit.
And heart condition. That is why in Matthew 3 and 8, this was John the Baptist preaching, he said,
Perhaps you should be using your phone.
bring forth, it's right there, it's there. He said it. Bring forth fruit that is consistent with repentance. Let your lives prove your change of heart. That's what he said in terms of the new kingdom that was coming. Bring forth fruit. So we need to understand, gentle people, there is a need for us coming together in unity. And then, as I was saying, then the intervention begins to happen and God begins to change and intervene. So what happened? The Cali cartel was destroyed. Murders went down. The person who was assassinated for what he did, him say, I'm prepared to die for it. And a lot of us are talking, in our country, but are we prepared to go the full 100, as the young people would say, to ensure that this happens? Because we are thinking about the next generation, because we can't continue the way we are. Those are the points in terms of doing what needs to happen.
Well, it seems we need to add to the list, be prepared to die.
Yeah.
And I don't say it lightly. I've gone to some situations where I've been prepared to die. I had some expectation of violence that I went and made reports because one thing I knew is that if it came to that, I wanted fingers to be pointed in the right direction. So I've done at least 2 such reports in my short time in the battlefield. But yes, Pastor is absolutely right on that one. And remember that death comes in different forms. So it's not necessarily a violent death, because you want to be around to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So you're not going to be courting disaster and be careless in how you operate this in your community, which is why I said don't be, kind of waving a hymn book and a Bible and going to the man's door when he's cleaning his gun to taunt him. No, you have to be more discreet than that.
Yeah. And why?
And also to remember, and here now, let's just say something really important, because there are some Christians who believe that when you're operating in the spiritual and when you're doing the work of God, it means you are fearless and you can just jump from the top of a building. Not even Christ did that to show the devil that he knew what was what.
Yeah, never did that. Even though he was tempted to do it.
You must recognize that it is really the power of God that accomplishes the change that you are promoting. Therefore, you don't take it on your natural self to stop bullets with your fist or whatever it is.
Trying to do. I catch you their teeth.
All right. Don't be a nanny, says the producer. Don't believe that that is a requirement. No, because that would be you trying to show yourself up to be more anointed than you probably are. I'm making a serious point on this. A lot of times we think that a certain degree of fearlessness is what marks us as people doing the work of God. No, it is your humility, your invisibility, your
that God is using you, working
and
through.
Just understand that it is the power of God, and don't stand in the way of it or put yourself as the conduit for it, because he may plan to use the beggar who is by the corner and you are just the door opener. So understand, be of such an understanding of things and be of such humility in mind and spirit to say, oh, not me, I'm not who God is using for this. I'm just meant to start something. And then be surprised. Many times you go into a room and all you are supposed to do is deliver a paper, put something on somebody's desk, and next thing you know, you're being asked to explain it. So be prepared. Be prepared, but don't go in thinking that I'm the star of the show. That's a sure way to die.
And it makes an important point. You can go and Google it. It's called a revival in Cali. It says the history of the city was beginning to change. History of the community will begin to change, with the churches stepping from being cooperative to becoming truly united. There's a difference.
Yes, of course.
And even the death threats that came to Rubial, that's his name, he had a bodyguard. And he remembered that even during what was happening, there's a presidential candidate who had 14 bodyguards, but he was still killed. And it says he knew he had to place his faith in God, and he came to believe that he would not die until his purpose on earth
had been accomplished.
So we have to understand purpose, destiny in terms of how we do things. But
and many
those
times
are steps.
your death is the focal point for the change.
Yeah, that's what
because some persons you become a martyr. And oh my, that is a blessed thing to be. But you don't become a martyr by desiring to be a martyr.
No,
but that is a kind of an accidental benefit. So those are comments I think we can safely make at this stage. Next week we're gonna talk about how you can set up your own community-based organization. But before you get to the point of doing your paperwork and establishing yourself and seeking to draw funding to your activities, get it done in the spiritual, and then you're ready for the next step. So those who are listening and whose imaginations are all fired up, please know that we are available to assist you in reducing the vision you have for your community into prayer points that are based in scripture and that can become the foundation of your change. And get your camera and your phone, whatever you're going to use to take pictures and to make a video of your community. I'm saying do that, because that is your expression of faith that you will one day say, it used to look like this, and now here we are. It is the testimony that will come once you have put in the effort. We're taking our 7:30 break. Please stay with us. We're going to be right back. We have a guest who's going to speak on air with us at 8 o'clock. So we'll begin to kind of shift so we can be in a vein to learn and to participate in the exciting program that she has coming up later this month. So this is the Morning Connection. Please stay with us.
We'll be right back. Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, away I do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, you know. And I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time on shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040. Or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you.
Wow, you big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
I try calling her, cause trust me.
Waitress Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Easy! Let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, lies prefer to truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Don, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith that God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record label at Gmail. Almighty Jah!
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales, shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
What's happening? Keep listening.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. God is good. This is already pastor and friend, Reverend Simon Peter Jones, inviting you, my friends, to listen every Tuesday evening on Best 100 FM at 7:30 p.m. for the program, The Voice of Hope, as we extend hope to the hopeless in this dying world. God is good. Be encouraged. Hope is in the Lord.
Vision Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vision Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back.
Yes, indeed.
So we're outlining now, we're challenging 60 communities. Jamaica 60.
Listen, man, you gotta announce it better than that.
60 is the number.
A drum roll, please. Andre, we're gonna make a big announcement. Line up something for us, so Pastor. We're not gonna allow Pastor to just announce our Jamaica 60 project like that. Just come back in and throw it down.
Yeah, but
gotta do it with
Go ahead.
Yeah, run it again.
60 is the number. Can you hit 60? As today we launch our Project 60, which is to mobilize 60 communities to come together to commit to change their communities, to bring about a change that is not only for a moment, but is sustained into the future. The launch of 60 CBOs, what you say?
I'm with you, brother.
60 CBOs, NGOs within those communities.
The morning connection is on fire.
Yeah, man.
Yes, we've decided.
Yeah, 60. We're not waiting until August. We're saying start now.
Starting now.
That's indeed, there's a movement, there's a change of personal responsibility, of community responsibility, bringing about a change. The prize is that you live in peace.
Peace is the price. The producer disappointed. No, the prize is a surprise.
Surprise is
when
a
you
surprise.
get there, you'll see. But yes, I believe that is an excellent thing to approach for Jamaica 60, and it's a challenge. This is the Jamaica 60 challenge. I think we'll launch it again this time.
No, but
this
it's
is the practice launch for the Jamaica 60 challenge.
It's serious, though,
60 communities. Morning Connection wants to light up 60 communities across the land of Jamaica. Well, now that I think about it, if some of you are in foreign We'll take it. 60 communities.
Say hi to Joan Riley.
All right, say hi to Joan. Hey, Joan. The producer was most insistent. Hi, Joan in London. If you want, I hope she's in London because we just said hi to Joan in London.
She's in England.
And you know what too, Joan? Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoying our show. And yes, bring a friend. But if you want to make a change in your community using the blueprint which Pastor Percy and I just spoke to, please give us a call, send us an email, whatever. We're looking for 60 communities. If we get more than 60, no, we're not saying we're cutting it off at 60.
No, man, that's a target, yeah.
But our target is 60 communities committing to change.
Hi, Stacy.
Mobilizing
Hi,
themselves.
Stacy. Oh, my Stacy? Stacy, please let your community be amongst those. Hi, Stacy is my girl. We should be running Jamaica. That young lady and I.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Yes.
Yes.
But,
More woman power.
Yeah, 60 communities for change. That's what it is.
And the change is about community safety, community empowerment, something that will move the community forward as we celebrate 60 years of being nation.
Well, you know, that's important. It's not 60 communities to fall into decline.
No, it's 60
which is
communities.
also a change.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So to the listeners who might be thinking that they can radicalize a community and bring it into the dark ages of violence and despair, that's not the change we're looking for. Positive change using the blueprint which Pastor and I spoke of. Reach out to us. We are going to formalize it a little bit more, because one of the things that we are taking a decision to do is to challenge Jamaicans to initiate a Jamaica 60 project.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Across the length and breadth of Jamaica, you in your communities plan something that is your Jamaica 60 project. And you have the whole year to execute it, but I would say try and execute it before August.
Yeah.
Before the birthday. And then let's take pictures, and we are going to find some way of creating a spot for it where we can truly acknowledge the input of Jamaicans in celebrating ourselves. Come
That's
on.
what it is about.
What's better than saying happy birthday to me? I'm born in the summer. I'm a July birthday girl.
Almost was born on August 6th.
No, not a whole month away from August 6th. But what happened is my school would always be on holidays when it's my birthday. So I never had, the birthday cake in class and the celebration at school. Never had that because I'm a July born. So I am very accustomed to saying happy birthday to me.
True.
And finding ways to have a quiet celebration.
Okay,
because, yeah, that's my point.
But your family did what they needed to do.
Mm-hmm. True story. Mm-hmm. One year I worked real hard to be home for my birthday, because sometimes, in early July, some schools are just going out and blah, blah, blah. And I put a lot of effort. In those days, you didn't have cell phone and so on, so to say, Mom, I'm on my way, whatever. Suffice it to say, I arrived home on the birthday itself. Mm-hmm. Like, ta-da! Right. And no one had really remembered.
Uh-oh.
Minute.
Uh-oh. Did it come?
Yes, my mom is doing the laundry. The house look the same. Yeah.
Osh.
No fatted calf. No ring.
Oh, no. Osh.
The prodigal son was a prince compared to that year when I went away. I never did it again. I said, but...
You did get the surprise.
Oh boy, this is a true story. Every now and then I remind my mom, you remember when? I think nobody's proud of that day. I bring it out when I want to request something that's really going to stretch the budget.
Okay. Okay, I hear you.
I say, you remember when I came home and I was in boarding school in Brownstown? And I went through a lot of effort to get home on my birthday.
And when you reach home on your birthday,
it was still happy birthday to me.
Uh-oh.
Nobody had remembered.
Got a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nobody had remembered. Anyway, those are the stories that keep you humble.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't grow up with birthdays being celebrated like, it's the 4th of July, as the Americans would say. All right, so we've launched our 60 or 60 for 60.
60 for 60, yeah.
We have to get a T-shirt. I'm planning it as we go along. I encourage you, all of you who are proud of being Jamaican, and that should be every one of us. And even if you're not feeling very proud, but you want to be proud, think about Jamaica and see, how can I make this a place that I'm proud to call home?
Yeah, that's
and
what it's about.
Let's initiate a 60 for 60 project. Like, no, you don't have to do 60 for 60. We want to do 60 because we're bold like that. And I think we know 60 communities that we can.
Yeah, there are 60 communities across the nation, the length and breadth of Jamaica, that could be mobilized, people mobilizing themselves to change their communities.
Right. Okay, Pastor, we can document our initiative and then share some more about it, because I would love other Jamaicans to jump on board and think of something that they can do as well.
Let's go to the headlines.
Who are the foreigners?
So the foreigners can become involved. Most
Is that a question online?
Most people are connected to some community in Jamaica, like their beginnings. That's where I come from, and so for the person who are listening online, they could initiate
a project back home.
Yeah,
you're saying, and certainly support.
Support
back
what,
home.
but they, in terms of what is happening. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what. Certainly, when we, as our projects, as the communities come on board for us, we will publish information about it. So whomever wants to contribute to the change that is taking place in a community, we can organize it. Yeah, and you know what? I'm so pleased to say that one of our listeners who was seeking that book. He has been put in contact. The history book. He has been put in contact with the other listener who had the book. So I'm hoping that we produce great puppies. Non sequitur.
Really now.
Oh man, I'm the only one with a sense of humor.
I hear that.
It's like that. Yes, when you put two people together, you want it to be fruitful, productive.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
And most Jamaicans will understand the great puppies. That is a fruitful union. Man say, just talk to me what you're saying.
Yeah,
I understood what you meant.
What do people say instead of puppies? Because I always hear people say to me, man, I love that shoes. When it have puppies, give me.
Oh, geez.
Or I love your car. When it have puppies. People say that. So I thought it was a thing. It's not a thing.
Me understand what it means. I don't know if most people listening online will understand what it means.
We underestimate our listeners. Okay, they all know what I mean. Let it be fruitful. And then hopefully you'll get to hear about
stories and the history,
the morning
real history.
Connection.
Right.
And the other update too is that I was so pleased. By yesterday afternoon, I had received a very courteous response from the clerk of the Parliament.
To say that they received
they have received our submissions.
Yeah.
Yes. So it
That's
was
a beginning.
not a fluke, right? It actually happened, and in due course, I will make copies of it available in some form so that you can associate yourself with it, share it with others, and look out to see whether or not your perspective is being taken on board. They asked for us to participate. We participated. Let us see what happens. Better yet, let's see if we receive a call to come and explain ourselves to the Joint Select Committee that is handling the amendments of these two major pieces of legislation. I had a caller made an inquiry about the reform, constitutional reform, and I think it's yesterday, and said with some amount of despondency that it requires consultation, but who are they consulting and so on. The formal consultation haven't started, but it does not stop us as citizens from starting our own discussions and setting in our mind what we want to see so that we can communicate it way ahead of time. That is what it requires to be proactive. So very shortly, we will start our own season of work in that regard. The other morning connection update is that we're now going to go, we currently do an outdoor broadcast at the Ligony Club. Well, we're going to start coming into the communities. So the 1660, just please understand that as the communities come on board, we will come and do an outdoor broadcast from those communities that we identify as part of 60-60. Make sense? Trial, I have your name on my list. Trial is really at the top of my list because it is through their own experience that these ideas on how we can be a part of promoting change and implementing change. So we're going to get our business sorted out. So any entrepreneur in the communities that are highlighted, you will hear from us. Pastor Percival, you used to watch Western movies.
It was a staple of us growing up.
All right.
John Wayne.
Do you remember?
Yes, I'd say The Untouchables.
I don't recall.
Magnificent Seven. Remember that Lowell?
I don't recall a single name of any of the movies, but I used to watch and I used to read the books. Do you remember how communities? So now you stake out your piece of land, you put up your couple of homesteads are there. The men are out in the boondocks with and it's the women and the children and the old people who are in the community. And from time to time, the outlaws would ride into town, hit the first bar, and then they proceed to rob everybody. And then the town would say, boy, we need a sheriff. Or we need to hire another gang.
Or we need to organize a posse.
Or we need to go.
That's where it come from,
Yes. Okay. Something like that is happening in Jamaica. Is why I mentioned it. That call yesterday made me think, very soon communities are going to try and hire their own gunmen to protect them because of one thing the lady said on the phone. She said her granddaughter had been robbed and she had made a report to 3 different police stations with no follow-up.
Because we asked her, when you go to the police station, if you report something, you're supposed to get a report of incident.
A receipt. You get a receipt to show that you actually...
And that's not a receipt now.
Yes. Now, I'm speaking to the police in particular right now. If you abandon your post, and you don't have to abandon your post by getting up and walking away from it. If people are not feeling you, not getting the service that they expect from you in the communities, you abandon your post.
True.
And when you abandon your post, other man go and fill it. And if a community gets tired of being preyed upon, inner
city and the Don culture.
Thank you.
That's what has emerged. Yeah.
Now, if communities have the money to hire somebody to come and protect them, they don't have to rise up out of it. You don't have to improvise himself. He can be created.
True.
He can be created.
That's why we are saying that the justice system must work for the people.
It must work. If it's not working for the people, we're gonna create our own.
And we're gonna create it. I mean, we have created it in some communities where what has happened is that the people that something happened, then just go talk to the Don. Somebody rob, somebody think they just go talk to the Don. That is reality in a lot of communities. And their justice is swift and quick, I'm not advocating for that, but that is reality.
It's a warning, man.
It's a reality of a lot of communities all over the country, especially in urban areas. And it's something that we really have to do it in many ways, because this return to law and order and the decrease in crime and violence, you have to do it a many-pronged approach in terms of what needs to happen. That is why if we're going to fix the problems we are having with crime and violence, corruption, we have to just mobilize every single Jamaican who believes in Jamaica to become a part of the change. But if there is a culture, and I guess we spoke about it, in which we believe our leaders are not accountable and they are not responding to needs, and people are going to drop down and say, what the matter? It don't make no sense, because they are not leading and setting by example. And I remember relating the story of persons that I know within organization, and something could not happen because everybody in the organization knew without a shadow of a doubt that if the leader got a whiff of it, there would be serious problems. They'll be protected by the what are the laws and of the organization. But in Jamaica, most of the people are saying, no, man.
So one of the things that I mentioned in your absence is that the administration of justice must be done in such a way as to avoid frustration, exhaustion, and undue burden on the people, the judge, and the society. When that frustration builds up, when people are tired of seeing the same kind of, disgusting behaviors, and when it is costing us too much.
And it is costing us too much already. Because we know the impact of crime and violence and corruption on the economic well-being of Jamaica. 5 to 10% of GDP is affected by it. So the people now.
All right, interesting frontline thing here, front page. Young Mr. Stewart, Adam Stewart, chairman of Sandals Resort International Group, company, whatever. The Gleaner itself is reporting that Mr. Stewart is threatening to sue RJR Gleaner Communication Group because he believes that their reports have been mischievous, misleading, and clearly part of a campaign designed to portray him as disruptive. What's wrong with that, Mr. Stewart, if you are portrayed as disruptive? It's a good thing for a billionaire to be disruptive. Usually produce positive results. Yes.
When they challenge you and I says, if you can tell me how you're going to solve world poverty, I will give you the money, but the only thing...
I'll give you the $6 billion that you need.
Yeah, that is disruptive because it challenges the status quo and says, come on, think again. Because real change happens when you force people to think again in terms of what is happening.
Yeah.
And what he was saying, it was not. There's nothing wrong with...
This is Mr. Stewart. Nothing was wrong with what he was saying.
What he was saying. No, it wasn't.
And if he's vilified for saying it, good for you, sir. Never really given much thought to, who you are, aside from the publicly known facts. But the fact is, for me, to see you taking a stand on something controversial and being vilified, he's usually awarded and given accolades.
If you're going to lead, boss, you have to take licks both ways.
Yes. I like it. Anyway, I'm sure there'll be no suing of anybody.
But what is the
more troubling now is to see that Parliament. No, what is ironic and maybe laughable about this is that I haven't seen the regulations yet. Under the Disabilities Act.
Yeah.
Parliament knows what they are. Parliament knew they were coming.
Yeah.
Yet Parliament is scrambling to get the lift, the elevator operable for wheelchair users.
Part of the
problem?
Virtue.
Oh, you mean this is the appearance of virtue being more important than the virtue itself? You would think that not only would it be operable, but they would have a sign to say, ta-da!
Yeah, the money is there. We put the money behind of it because everybody was saying, this is a wonderful thing, Tom. But I really wonder if they understand the monetary impact on the economy, businesses, schools, what this Disability Act is saying. Because if...
Explain it, Pastor.
Yeah, because...
What is the monetary impact?
You're going to have to change a building. You have to reconstruct buildings in terms of configuring them that people one wheelchair can get easy access. You're talking about sidewalks, ensuring that the blind can walk without any impediment. In terms of schooling, children who are blind or children who are deaf and hard of hearing, which has been my experience, that you, for the deaf and hard of hearing, that if the child qualifies and wants to go to the thing.
So yes, but are you saying we don't have the will, we don't have the resources, we don't, what's the comment that you're making on that?
The comment is, yes, it was good to have done it, but do we understand the implications of what it is we have signed off on?
That's the question, but I'm asking, what's your comment on it? Are you saying that we won't do it? Because it really don't matter the cost.
I don't even say we will have to do it because it's law.
So yeah, but we are not going to do it perfectly because guess what? The act was in place from what, 2014?
Yeah.
And Parliament was just getting the elevator ready for wheelchairs.
So they were fixing.
So
yes, it was there, but it was in disrepair.
Yes, but that's my point.
I'm going to spend $7.5 million to build a new Parliament.
Oh, you mean that one will have all the amenities to accommodate the disabled. So you asked the question about, is the infrastructure ready? It is not ready. But
and it shall not be ready.
This legislation is both aspirational and actual. In the sense that whatever we can do, we ought to be doing it now. Yeah. And the things that will take time, put it on a schedule and work at it with diligence and sincerity.
So we're going to operationalize the regulations first in government, because you have to lead by example, and then in businesses. And most businesses are going to say, but we're in the middle of pandemic, or we're going to do that. But it was on the card for a long time.
And the truth is, now this is where you talk about what does the government put behind these? And I've invited, I don't know if it's answered yet. I've invited Senator Morris to speak with us again to just talk through, because I want to look at the regulations and have my own ideas. You have your own ideas on the ways in which the government can right now begin to do things. An easy way, just the way we need to be making capital available so persons can do the climate change adaptations. We also need to have capital available so persons can do the conditioning changes to their buildings to make it accessible and more friendly to disabled folks. Last night on the news, a blind man was talking about somebody who left a door, like the door of a vehicle open in the path of the and he walked smack into it, hit his face, and when he slammed the door, the driver, appeared to have been
agitated
about it. But things like, that's hard to police. Cause that is, but the
that goes to the
public
heart of
education,
the problem, which is the heart of the people.
But the training about how to live and behave, which we talked about, which I talked about in the administration of justice, it's futile to set laws and standards, but people don't know how to live to those standards.
True.
So you do need to have a lot more, our friend Kitty's is on a promotion of values. We need those, the messaging can't stop in terms of how do we get people to understand that these acts of courtesy can keep you from violating the law. Because any interruption or breaking of the sidewalk is an offense.
That's what it means.
We were in a little community some long time ago, and we couldn't find parking near a bank, and we parked on the side. We parked, and I remember being so humbled when the man come to tow the vehicle, and we were saying, "But we out of the way," and the man said, "But what if a blind person?" And what if we moved that vehicle, we would have paid the fine even without. Because just the way the man who drive the truck to haul off your vehicle, just the way he communicated the necessity to treat the law in a certain way.
Encumbrances.
Even though, I was saying, we were on a dead-end street and parked, and we were not disturbing, but he said, the sidewalk, what if a blind person who is accustomed to this area were to navigate? How would they? Argument done. So there's a level of sensitivity and training that goes with this type of legislation, which is not just changing law, but changing culture.
Changing mindsets, changing hearts.
When we come back, we're gonna be speaking to Miss Kamisha Bolton, the lady who does the research program. And she'll tell us what she's gonna be doing on the 25th of February. So stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
BBC News. Hello, this is Jerry Smith. The men's world #1 tennis player Novak Djokovic has said he's willing to miss the French Open and Wimbledon if that's the price for refusing to get a COVID jab. The Serbian was deported from Australia last month because he wasn't vaccinated. vaccinated. Emma Rajan reports.
When Novak Djokovic tried to enter Australia in January, he sparked an international outcry and became a hero to the global anti-vax movement. But he is explicit that he is not one of them.
I say that everyone has the right to choose to act or say whatever they feel is appropriate for them. And I have never said that I'm part of that movement.
He insisted that he played by the rules when he was given a medical exemption to compete in Australia. But he adds that if the price of his sticking to his principles is that he misses the French Open or Wimbledon, then so be it.
The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is meeting President Putin in Moscow as part of diplomatic efforts to try to ward off a potential Russian invasion of Ukraine. Mr. Scholz will repeat warnings from other Western leaders of tough sanctions against Russia if it attacks Ukraine, though correspondents say he's not expected to end the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline project, which benefits both Germany and Russia. New rules have come into force in Italy requiring all workers over the age of 50 to be double vaccinated against COVID-19. They'll have to produce a super green pass to be allowed to enter their place of work. Rachel Wright reports.
Italy's new vaccine mandate stipulates that both public and private workers over the age of 50 must have a super green pass, showing they have been double vaccinated in order to go to work. After 5 days' absence, they will be suspended without pay. If they go to work without the pass, they could be fined up to $1,700. With around 1.4 million people still not vaccinated, the new ruling is likely to affect a lot of people. The over 50 vaccine mandate is scheduled to remain in force until the 15th of June. However, a government health minister has already suggested that it will be extended.
The International Rescue Committee has urged the United States and Europe to immediately address the economic crisis in Afghanistan so people can meet their basic needs. Ambar Sanitirajan has the details.
Aid agencies warn that the current humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan could lead to more deaths than 20 years of war. The IRC said for millions of Afghans, survival depended on their ability to access humanitarian aid. Since the Taliban takeover in August, food prices have skyrocketed. The banking sector is on the verge of collapse, and donor nations have frozen nearly $9 billion of Afghan funds and assets.
World News from the BBC. The jailed Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has appeared in court on the first day of a new trial where he's facing fraud charges. The trial is being held inside the maximum security prison where Mr. Navalny is serving a 2.5-year sentence. BBC Russian's Pyotr Kozlov has more details.
Alexei Navalny is facing 2 cases. He's accused of fraud and of contempt of court. The fraud charges allege that he used nearly $5 million worth of donations given to his political organizations for his personal needs. If found guilty, he could face an additional 10 years in prison. In 2020, the Russian opposition politician was poisoned with Novichok by security agents and was jailed 6 months later. His arrest caused mass protests across Russia, which have since been brutally crushed.
The trial of a Kenyan lawyer accused of bribing prosecution witnesses of the International Criminal Court is due to begin in The Hague. Paul Gashero faces charges of hindering the administration of justice by corruptly influencing witnesses during hearings about post-election violence in Kenya 14 years ago. He denies the allegations. The Ethiopian Parliament has lifted the state of emergency that was imposed late last year in the face of a rebel advance towards the capital Addis Ababa. It had been in effect since November, when the Tigray People's Liberation Front moved southward from Tigray province. Activists and celebrities in Pakistan have expressed dismay over a court's decision to acquit the brother of a social media star who was convicted of killing her for bringing dishonor to the family. Mohammed Wasim was sentenced to life imprisonment in 2019 after he confessed to strangling his 26-year-old sister, Kandil Baloch. She became a social media celebrity by posting provocative photos. BBC.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Estás con Quintana.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. God is good. This is already pastor and friend, Reverend Simon Peter Jones, inviting you, my friends, to listen every Tuesday evening on Best 100 FM at 7:30 p.m. for the program, The Voice of Hope, as we extend hope to the hopeless in this dying world. God is good. Be encouraged. Hope is in the Lord.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in. Best 100 FM.
He's coming back. Yes, yes, indeed, it's redemption time with Apostle Clive Campbell, presenting a life-changing, life-challenging message to encourage, inspire, and motivate you towards your destiny. Every Tuesday night from 9:30 p.m. until 12:30 a.m. and on Saturday from 9 o'clock until 10, right here on Best 100 FM. It's redemption time. I'm standing for
Wagwan.
Guten Tag. Buongiorno.
We are
The Kingstones.
I think I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them.
Hey, you are listening, crew. This is your late afternoon companion to Shikalu on your 100 FM dial. Make sure you tune in and turn up every Tuesdays from 5 until 7 p.m. for OTAWTL. That is on the ear with me, yours truly. A program that will leave you inspired, entertained, and informed. With the credit giveaways each week. Street Link, where we go in the streets to find out from the people what is hot and what is not, and so much more. And guess what? You can now voice your birthday shout-outs on our WhatsApp line at 876-538-9442, and we'll play them live on air. So what are you waiting for? Turn up Tuesdays from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on Best 100 FM, the station that is sizzling every day.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hackett Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back to the Morning Connection. We have a guest in the house this morning. Well, she's online, but it sounds nice to say she's in the house. Miss Kamisha Bolton.
Yes, morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am great. The weather is good.
But it's great, and it's cool or hot.
Yeah, cool, so cool.
And you love that.
Yeah, man. Mist, I can barely see the sun.
Wow.
Lord, I'm envious. Where are you? In the Blue Mountains?
Stony Hill.
Oh,
yes.
Almost. We tell ourselves. Oh, yeah, we kid ourselves about that. But welcome to the Morning Connection. I know it is an early hour of the day for you, Miss Reset, in the afternoon.
Yes, it's very early.
Well, that is why you just picking...
I set the timer so many times I got up to make sure I wasn't late.
That's so interesting. I would say she comes up, you come up in the afternoon, and so we're up early in the morning, so we're used to the mist and all of the fog.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, we get a little sight of it on Thursday mornings when we are outside. But Kamisha is a sister, you know. Have you met Kamisha? Yes, you did. When we had our end of year in-house celebration.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Kamisha was one of the lovely ladies making sure that you got food.
Okay. I never did get no food, remember?
Oh, really? Oh, yes, that's true. You never come back. All right. So welcome to the Morning Connection, Kamisha. I know you're a member of the family and need no big introduction, but I still would like you to just repeat for the early morning listeners what it is you do on your program Reset, which is also aired on Best FM.
Well, reset, as the name suggests, resetting the mindset, helping people to find practical ways to get back to their positive and, good moral ways in Jamaica, through music and conscious reasonings and so,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
On the conscious reasoning side, you're planning an event on the 24th of February.
Yes, it's called copyright. It's a copyright seminar. I've been doing it since 2016, and so it's really because my other half is a musician, and when we got into registering his copyright, and so we realized a lot of our friends and family, they weren't really registered, and then Jamaica has such a bad history of artists who lose their publishing, have big songs in the world, and nothing that comes from it.
Don't get the money from it.
I thought, we had a brethren by the name of Glenn Darby, who's a very good brethren of mine. He died 3 years ago, and so the seminar continues to be in honor of him. But he was very educated, like a genius about the whole business of copyright and music business, and so we liaisoned with him, and so we started the seminar that way, and so we're having it again. It's been 2 years that it has not happened, and we decided it's Reggae Month, and I have also the platform on Best FM, and I thought we could just do it again, but this time virtually, since most things are being done virtually these days.
So it's a virtual conference on the 24th of February 2022. Yes. What time?
It's from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And there's a cost of $1,500. Not even a cost, a contribution. Because when we talk about people who will be speaking at that seminar, we have somebody, a gentleman called John Miller, who is an senior creator administration personnel at BMI, and he's making the time to come and speak with you, talk to you about BMI, how to protect your copyright and so forth. And we have Paul Campbell. You might have heard of Paul Campbell of Song Embassy. He's part of the Reset program every Monday, because we have a feature called 15 Minutes to Your Copyright. So he comes on every Monday and he gives practical ways to protect yourself from people stealing your music, stealing your intellectual property.
Those are your two headliners. I know you were hoping to have others on board.
Boy, I don't know.
Any Jamaicans?
I don't know if those are the two headliners. It's all four speakers are headliners. All 5 speakers rather are headliners, because we also have Sultan Ali, who is the son of Prince Buster. He has a long legacy in the music business, and so he'll also be speaking to the persons at the seminar.
And so I'm gonna repeat the highlights of what you share later on in the program. So I'm just making a note of the speakers. You have John Miller, Paul Campbell. You have Prince Buster's son. That's how I record him, because I know Prince Buster's.
Yes.
And who is your fourth?
Oh, Keisha Ellis. So she's part of the publishing, and so she runs Jack Russell Music Publishing in the UK. That's a very big publishing company. A lot of Jamaicans are signed to Jack Russell Music, and they come each year and meet with their members in Jamaica and go through, step by step what is being earned and stuff like that. So she will be here, and she's also the daughter of Alton Ellis.
Okay.
That's a Jamaican connection.
So you have some strong connections there. And finally, who's the fifth?
Oh, and we call him Danny Pepperseed, but he is a music lawyer and legal consultant. He actually manages Steely and Clevie now, and RDX band in Jamaica.
Okay, so that is a nice cross-section of disciplines there. You have publishing, you have legal, you
publishing, somebody who can tell you how to earn, right? Yes. And somebody from a PRO who, because many of us are signed to BMI and also signed to JCAP too, because you can be signed to both. Giving JCAP, for example, the region of Jamaica and the Caribbean, and BMI for the world. So a lot of us are signed to both. So because ASCAP no longer functions in Jamaica, BMI has been the forerunner for a lot of Jamaican artists who want to protect their copyright in the world.
For somebody like me who really, I hear in BMI and I hear JCAP, what is BMI? Is it the initials or what? That's up.
Well, okay, so JCAP is the Jamaican arm of the protection agency, of the performance agent, protection of the performance and your recording support that protects Jamaican artists in Jamaica, right? BMI does the world. JCAP really comes from ASCAP, but as I say, ASCAP no longer represents Jamaica. Jamaicans, you have to have what you call a social security. You might know what that is. So Jamaican citizens really cannot register with ASCAP anymore. So BMI is Broadcasting Music Inc., and they protect you all over the world. So wherever your music is played, on the radio, in a bar, at a festival, at a show, wherever, they will collect on your behalf.
Okay. All right, so now I'm understanding. So are you only focusing on music, or are you just thinking about all the creative industries in terms
definitely. It's about creatives. So the thing is that now, if you manage somebody who is a creative, if you are the publicist or so, because we have all those people, in clusters for different artists or creatives, right? So if you work with a creative, then the seminar is for you. Especially if you're an artist, though, it is definitely for you. So it's really mostly for artists, for musicians, composers, people who write lyrics and stuff like that. It's mostly for them. But also the people who work with them, it's for them too. So they can also be aware of the information, so they can also help to protect their person that they,
Yeah,
manage.
so I would say lawyers, so law students listening, or legal practitioners, managers who manage talent, accountants who have to help with collecting revenue and accounting for revenue. This is a good seminar for you to participate in, and it's only $1,500, a contribution of $1,500. How do people pay for the seminar? Can they pay online, or how are you organizing that part
so
of
we
it?
ask them to send an email to Kamisha, KEMESHA.BOLTON @ So they send an email and they register through the email, and then they'll be given the instruction. But you can pay via bank transfer, PayPal, or you can just drive up to Best FM and pay at the accounts department.
Okay, so there are several options there. So I will, it's Kamisha.Bolton @ gmail.com. Send Kamisha an email, indicate your interest, and you will get all the instructions you need on how to ensure your participation in this seminar. I love it, and I suspect you might repeat it. You normally just do one for the year?
Yes, I usually do one for the year, but we'll see how this one goes and the interest, and then we'll, of course, do more maybe at the end of the year if it's possible.
All right. Any limits to the numbers? Is it I guess, should we just rush to get registered, or you can take as many as the platform allows?
No, it's actually limited space. We cannot take a whole lot of people. So I'm encouraging people to get registered today, because it's next week Thursday. The seminar is literally next week Thursday, and we will have to cut off by Monday of next week.
Okay,
so
I was about to ask how many people you could accommodate.
She's keeping that secret. She's not telling you how many. She's saying, if you're interested, deal with it now.
We're just going to cut off,
because it cut off on Monday.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, is there anything else, anything we have overlooked? I believe I certainly have a clear understanding of what you're seeking to do, and it is our pleasure to spread the word for you on the Morning Connection. One or two of our listeners like to sing songs to us and to speak of their poetic and artistic abilities. So, and I must let the producer know of this show, because he has his own talent and his own production skills. So definitely we'll be there to support you, Kamisha.
And you'll be hosting at least one half of the seminar minute, so we're happy to have you on board too.
Yes. So for those to whom it matters, you'll get more time. I am looking forward to it, though. I congratulate you on the effort. I think it is it is necessary for persons to just, step into the field. And condolences on the loss of your friend. You continue to honor him with this effort on your part.
I encourage people really to get in the know. That's why it's just $1,500 and just a contribution. Because seminars like that are up $6,000 and more.
Yeah.
Up to $10,000, especially with these people that are
with these persons that they get direct contact with. Yeah.
Yes, it's not really about making money, but it's really about getting people to understand that, if you write down 2 lines and you're going to publish it, make sure you protect yourself. If your friend is an artist and you say to him, hey, add two of this line, and him add it, you also have a right to a percentage of that song. If it's ever, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, unless it's your gift to him, and it should be clear. One of the things that, indulge me for a moment, because I read a 105-page case last night that looked at family man Barrett's claim against the Marleys and the right in relation to the whatever entitlements they had to the music and the royalties from the music. And one of the things that came out of it was just the culture of how the creatives worked. The musicians said they trust the man who have the vocals and the lyrics. Him go and write the song and bring the song. And they just do the music. Just have produce the right sound for it. And in that exchange took place without contract, without discussion of who get what for what. And later on, of course, it became a celebrated piece of litigation. Litigation, the song boss. Everybody was getting money while Bob Marley was alive and so on. But after Bob Marley died, it fell into heavy litigation and dispute. And I think it is difficult for artists while they are creating to be thinking about the commercial side of it.
Yes, which is why they need all the team, and the team has to be aware of what needs to be done so that they can, in the background, or even when they're finished, just to take 5 minutes to say, okay, how do they split? Write it down on a split sheet and have it protected somewhere,
And in all of this, being fair and decent to one another does not clog up the creative pipes. In fact, it might free it up.
Yes.
But this thing about the team and the preparation of the team is what I came away with as well.
Definitely.
One of the questions.
On the 50 minutes, the copyright that feature that we have on the reset on a Monday, just last week, Paul Campbell spoke of that. He said, that bands can be registered. And as you say, it's difficult sometimes to think, they're thinking about the music and then have to think about that part. But he said, bands can be registered, as a sole trader if the artist wants to do it by himself, or as a limited liability company, or as a partnership. And what happens is that when you register it that way, whatever income or so that comes from whatever the band does, then everybody earns from it. It doesn't matter, it's in black and white, it's down, so everybody earns. So nobody have to go and argue about anything, because we're a partnership or a limited liability, and so it's split this way, So I mean, people have to get into that. People, creatives really do not want to have to focus on the business side a lot of times. And so we really need the people who are managing them, who are part of their team, to be on it,
And, of course, the producer is able to hear all that you're saying, and he just kind of whispered to me that how we use the technology in this digital age is also a critical part of it, because our son has a studio. The producer's firstborn has a studio, and it's covered with camera. Everything in it that happens in there is recorded.
Yes.
Everything. So you can actually go back to a session and hear who contributed what. And what the interaction was in the production of whatever it is you're working on. And so even that information in the hands of the lawyers, or they can give you a template to apportion rights and to settle the arrangements as they ought to be in reality, not afterwards when the song is big, suddenly the person who gave one line is the lead creator, or somebody who really napped out the entire time when the jam was going down.
Yes.
Claim that they have 50% of it because it took place in their house.
Yes,
or something like that.
Know, and so much of that have gone. I mean, also another case study can be the story of Junior Biles. These big songs, Fade Away. You sit upon his vanity, have no love for humanity.
Yes.
Fade Away.
Fade Away, yes.
Broke, nothing, no royalty, no publishing, nothing. None of those songs.
Yeah.
Big songs. And so he's another case study,
Mm-hmm. Boy, that's just wickedness in the world, because the person collecting money who knows say it's not theirs must do the right thing. But my sister, thank you so much for getting
so
up
much.
early.
I'm up now, ready.
Well, stay tuned, and if you want to, please, you can call us, because we're going to open the lines now. I wonder if we should keep Kamisha on for a spell. Are you available for a short while, just in case the first few calls might you know what? You are on. Are you on this evening? When is your program? Remind me.
2 o'clock today.
At 2 o'clock today. All right. So those of you with a burning question for Kamisha, she's gonna be on 2 o'clock
She's on
today.
every day, 2 o'clock.
Yes, 2 to 5.
2 to 5.
Every day of the week.
Yes, except on a Friday.
Just
I'm
like us.
you, Monday to
Right.
Thursday.
Yeah, she controlled the afternoon hours.
Okay, nice to know.
All right, great, Kamisha. Thank you for sharing with us, and we wish you every best result from your
Thank you so
copyright
much. It is
seminar.
my pleasure, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Yeah, man.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, so I was tempted to allow our callers to interact with her a bit, because I know one or two artists are up early in the day. But that last point she made gave me pause. The artists who are flat on their face with their music, making money that going into other people's pocket.
That's the song Junior Biles.
Mm-hmm.
We could play that this morning. It's a very powerful.
Yeah. Oh, so if we could play it before we open the line, we have 2 minutes. You want to play a little bit of it? Is that too much? Too short?
Junior Biles.
Okay. Yeah, the break is 2 minutes from now. All right. Okay. Well, when we resume, we're going to open the lines. Let me remind you of the numbers: 619-1508 and 279-8473. Of course, we are encouraging everyone who has an interest in copyright and the protection of their creative output to tune in on the 24th when Kamisha takes her seminar live and interact with the persons, experts in the field, who can give you some insight on how to organize your business. It's very difficult. This morning I was saying to the producer that when I'm doing my thing, and whatever you do is your creative output, you know that? If you cook, if you're a lawyer doing submissions and advocacy, and if you are an artist painting a picture, whatever it is that is your creative endeavor, when you're doing it, you don't want to be distracted or to contend with the practical things that safeguard it.
That's true.
So, for example, when we're on air now, if something is going wrong with the mic or the live stream or something, and someone is trying to interact with me about it, it's a complete distraction. I don't even want to. I kind of want it to just go away. But some of these things are very necessary to the survival and the profitability of your core work. I realize what's important is to have available to you a team of persons who know what you're doing and who have a care and concern for your success, and that's their job. Mm-hmm. So, for example, I mean, you and I come and we sit, and between the engineer and the producer, all the things that need to happen to allow us to focus on what we're doing, that gets done, and we're very grateful for it. But not everybody has that. Some people have to produce, and then they have to go and make sure that the other things are in place. And when you carry those responsibilities, it's just so much harder to achieve the success that you desire. Can we take the break now? I feel like, okay, good. Please stay with us. We'll be right back, and we're just going to open the lines. Maybe with a little Junior Biles music playing in the background. I promise you that. Okay.
We'll be right back.
should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
Need a cab from anywhere at all. You can call us on 926-3866.
We are something special on the road. The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Hello there. Yes, indeed. This is the prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart, inviting each and every one of you to join us for war. It's gonna be a war this and every Wednesday. Of course, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be powerful. Come for the word. Come for the preaching. Come for the teaching. Of course, the music. And of course, midnight warfare with me, the prophet Mark Stewart, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall, Reverend Eric Boss, and of course, Reverend Captain Team for the hard way. Join us every Wednesday night from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Come and join us, will you? Sponsored by all our partners, our friends of the ministry. Will you join us? Yes, indeed. It's going to be powerful. This and every Wednesday, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. We're going to leak it till the bus down. We're going to leak it till the bus down. We're going
Vision Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hackett Park Road. Vision Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's better, but nothing beats.
Joseph Chapman set an E-frame, so go ahead.
Yeah. Jacob, whose name was converted from Genesis 32
to Israel,
from Jacob the supplanter to Yasharahala, Prince of Power with God. I'm using the Lasharan Kadash, the holy language.
All right, okay. Where you going, my brother? Tell me where you're going.
Well, I'm excited to hear if you deliver the book. Did you deliver the book?
I'm going to be, technically judicious this morning.
But before you do that, please tell me that you delivered the book.
Yeah, the gentleman linked up.
No, the arrangement is for today.
Okay, excellent. Right. You know we wish it well. I've asked for one of the puppies.
Yes, it's greatly appreciated. All right. On this wonderful station, I must commend all its staff and workers.
Thank you, sir.
Sister, I want you to make, you're a trained lawyer. I want you to understand what's the difference between adjudication and litigation.
Litigation, to my own man, me not a lie. When you sue somebody for something and try to litigate away, adjudication is the person who sits over the litigation and makes it happen. Is that correct, my dear lady?
Wonderful. I think that's the best way to put it. But why is that on your mind, my brother?
I'm reflecting on the Nzenga King case.
Okay.
And one justice, I don't want to call his name. On the 22nd of July last year, there was a misjustice was issued out to Miss Nzenga King and the court on that date when the arresting officer didn't turn up, but she was actually sentenced, and henceforth the problem with her hair gotten cut. She was sentenced on another charge, contrary to the violation as a DRMA Act, disaster risk management. She was actually sentenced for.
Well, the report is that she pleaded guilty.
Disorderly conduct, and a trial took place, and she was sentenced without a lawyer, without chief plea, and without the presence of the arresting officer.
I'm going to correct you on one thing. It is impossible for someone to be sentenced without pleading.
There you go.
Impossible. So she must have pleaded.
It happened before. There was I could cite a case in which it was the DPP personnel, the DDP issue a release stating that was a blatant disregard for the bench. That lady is now a Supreme Court judge. You know of that case?
No, I don't. In fact, you lost me. Because you said technical. One of the things that I know there's been some crosstalk about, was she aware of all the charges and so on and so forth. The documents seem to support that she pleaded guilty to a particular charge, was fined, a fine was administered, and she didn't pay the fine, and so the natural thing was to have her right. But there were other charges which remained on the docket to be pursued because no plea of guilty or no trial had taken place to resolve those. But I have another caller on the line, and I don't want to detain us in too much crosstalk. So you tell me what's on your heart concerning Nzingo.
I did not heard.
Yeah.
Well, Pastor Percy, you were the one giving the explanation. What I want to know if it's that the previous judge was one Miss Pusey.
Yes.
Yes. She actually sentenced someone without a plea or trial, and
you can be sentenced without a trial, but you can't be sentenced without a plea.
There you go.
And the plea can later be disqualified if the plea, let's say, you see, there's process, meaning just the procedure that people follow, and then there is substance, meaning that it matches the standards in law.
Yeah, this is what I want to know. Can there be any retribution, legal action, or I use the term litigation, against a judge for mis or maladministration of justice?
Yes, there is a process.
What's the procedure?
There's a process by which judges are disciplined. But you have two things happening. You have the conduct of the judge, which is a matter for judiciary discipline, and you have the conduct of the case, which follows the line of appeal, which the law sets out. So, say for example, she's been sentenced and she paid a fine and the thing is finished, but with hindsight they see where some miscarriage of justice took place and there's a need for an appeal. You can apply for the time for appeal to be extended, and you can go in through an appeals process, or you can go by way of judicial review if it concerns the conduct of the judge and said something needs to be set aside because it was done without due process and so on. There are different ways to do it. One thing, the law is not silent, or even if it is silent, it is not bereft of opportunities and procedures to bring things back in alignment with a just conclusion. So you asked about adjudication. Adjudication is the process by which the litigation is resolved. Can I run and leave you? Because I have another call and I'm seeing some waves. But I get back in touch with us once you have deliver the book and things are moving along. We love to keep track of the babies.
I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Thanks,
Thank
Samuel.
you.
Bless you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You know, I cannot go through the week without calling the station.
Is it like an addiction?
Yes, when this station is off the air, like on Friday, I don't
Trust me, I'm not comfortable.
All right. Well, that your discomfort is music to my ears.
What's up? We're coming to your side of the world still, you know. Look out, we're coming.
No, man, the one here 6 days a week. Friday, I'm lucky day, you know, so then say.
Oh, all right. We're going to work up something for you on Fridays then.
The more I find out now, I hear JPS advertising that it is resident responsibility to cut trees. Anything goes like that?
I have not heard that.
We can't call Winter Man.
But do you know that giving JPS an easement, which is a legal right of way to cut your trees, that is what is unnatural, you know. The primary position is that a resident, a homeowner, occupant of land has the responsibility to ensure certain things. But because electricity has certain volatile characteristics, the law gives JPS an easement, so they have the right to cut. They don't really have a natural right to cut your tree. It's the law that gives them that right. But I don't know that there's a policy change that has taken place where they would be saying they will no longer do it, you need to do it. But the fact of the matter is the right always resided with the homeowner or the occupant of land.
What I'm saying, most of those trees are on government land.
There's no, that would not be true. When you say government land, what do you mean? The government, all right, let me explain something. Ownership of land in Jamaica and land that is close to the roadside comes with a legal obligation for you to refrain from building within a certain distance of the center line of the roadway. But that don't make it government land. That just means that the ownership, the landowner's ownership is regulated under a certain scheme that requires you to leave room for the road to expand or for people to walk or for public utilities to enjoy the easement that they have. That's part of your communal responsibility now, to ensure that you own and treat the land that you own in such a way that certain services can flow without interruption. Okay, having explained that, so what you call government land is not government land unless the government own it by title.
So I understand now. But they are the one always cleaning it.
Yes, that is the exchange. When I give up the right to build my wall right up by the side of the road and secure every inch of land that is on my title, when I give that up, you give in exchange services to keep it clear and to maintain it, and if you put up lights and so on. But no, unless the government buy land from you and have their name on the title, it is usually citizens who own the land but who can't build right up to the edge of the land, so to speak, because other people need to traverse the roadways.
There's another point I want to talk about.
Sure.
I see, I don't know if it's the MP and the parish council give out the work, but I see some guys cleaning the road down here and they're using chemical to spray the grass, the weed. Is that right?
Some people use it in different forms. Some people say it's not good because it not only kills the weed, it kills everything around it because it is attacking everything. Some people say it's better just to cut what you need to cut. So I don't know if it is right or wrong, but you need to explore it further with those people. Why is it that they're using chemicals?
I don't know it, and then all the grass, then you have the clear dirt, and then all that dirt will wash down the road and head for the river.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So because the grass is there supposed to hold the soil together, that you don't get erosion. But
and if they strip it off the grass, then they should put in a sidewalk.
Yeah.
And these are some of the things that you can look around in your community.
Right.
And if you disagree with how they're treating it, you find the place and talk to the people who are doing it in that way. Or, depending on how radical you want to be, if it is right by your house, you can put in the sidewalk yourself. I've had to cover, but we had a property that the drain kept clogging in front of it, and we had to go and put in the proper pipe and cover it with concrete and so on, so water could flow freely and people could walk.
It's not close by me, but I'm planning to go and see the MP, but I don't really want to enter his place because, I'm not one of his friends, that.
Yeah. You have to think about the community. Put away the differences and think community, Santa.
People may see me go there and think I'm looking handout from them, and I'm not that type of person.
Yeah. Well, once you demonstrate who you are, they will lose that misconception in short order. All right, my brother, I have another caller waiting. May I go take that call? Because you're welcome to call us back.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Oh, I should have kept my friend on the line. Is the call still there? Okay. No, I have to apologize to to our YouTubers who were busy talking it up on the channel. I was on a different. We're on so many platforms.
That is part of the.
So I didn't see. I didn't see that you were giving us plenty love. Tumblebug, Perry, Truth to Power, of course, Conrad up there in Cole, Canada. We're gonna get to the comments, but thank you for supporting it and for schooling us when necessary. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning, Ms. Miller.
Good morning, sir.
Hello. Yes, Pastor Percy there.
No. Yes, he's here now.
Pastor, I want to ask a question, There's a passage, Acts chapter 1, verses 10 and 11. But I just want to get your opinion on it. Can I just read it? It's not long, really.
Go ahead.
All right. It's verse 10. And while they looked steadfastly toward him as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. Now, Pastor Pastor, what I want to ask you, do you, from that, what you understand that Jesus will return as a human being?
He's going to return in the resurrected form that he was.
No, it's
the resurrected body.
And he's going to return in like manner.
Right.
So
resurrected body.
Like
all right. So he's going to come back in the body that he has, which is resurrected, which was not spirit, but a body. Remember when he was resurrected, him say, touch, feel, that same body that he had, which was, so it's the same way he's going to come, but he's not coming back he's coming back as a conquering lion.
As a human being?
Yeah.
Eh?
Yes, in the same body that he had.
All right. And then now in the Revelation, it tells us that Christ in his second advent will be the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
Right. So I'm coming back with that resurrected body. Right, yes.
And all of these things fulfilled this 2nd of November 1930 upon Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia.
That's where Mayo disagree, because even Mayo disagree with that point, because I think that if he went in that form, when he returns in the human form, the way that he's going to return is the same way that he went, and Haile Selassie died.
No, not like that.
Oh, he didn't die. Haile Selassie didn't die. Yeah, that's why you're asking me for my opinion, and I'm telling you. Yeah, so I'm just telling
that is not fact,
It's not what?
Opinion, not fact.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all right, then.
What I just really wanted to understand, is that according to the scriptures, it says this man ascending in heaven.
Yes.
Now, him can ascend and come back on earth,
Why not?
They have to come from heaven and come down, innit?
No, but all right, you have said, you have related to me what it says in Revelation.
Yeah.
And he said he's going to come back in the same way that he went. So he had a resurrected body, which is different from the body.
No, it said like manner. It said like manner.
Right. So he's going to come back, you're going to see him visible coming out of the heavens right as a conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. And he will rule, and you need to understand that there's a whole heap of things coming together in the physical return of Jesus Christ.
Okay, and then now, just as the brethren mentioned this morning about Judah, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Judah is a son of Jacob, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And a human people, you understand, human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Christ come on earth, him do some work, him crucify him, and according to the scriptures and the spirit, him a send in a heaven, a human being a send him, tell the people them don't touch him, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, how I look at it, you know, Pastor, is that when we see Christ return again on the earth, yeah? Him going to be a human being.
Yes.
And that human being will have certain ancestry, yeah?
Yes.
Also, in Revelation, it's so you say, a little while he shall see me, yet a little while he shall not see me.
Yeah.
But yet a little while he shall see me.
Mm-hmm.
So really now, you know, I think we're in that stage.
Okay.
Coming up to where now we're going to see the fullness, you know?
All right, but you are saying that he physically returned.
We have another caller on
Another call online, and this is interesting thing we can pursue. But but you have raised something. But read it again and follow it. You raise a question, just follow it to what you said. If you believe that he's gonna physically return, he could not have returned in the person of Haile Selassie as Rastafarians really believe.
A little while he shall see me.
Yeah.
A little while he shall not see me.
Yeah.
But yet a little while he shall see me.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Pastor.
Blessings.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. All right. That one died by the wayside.
You know, I find Kelly Boulan, my very good friend out of Canada. I love your brother.
Alki Boulan.
Yes.
What are you seeing? What are you seeing there that is of concern to you? Because I know you're looking at the messages.
Because him say he believes some writing, but he not believe something that is history. So he believes some, and not believe some. You not understand. I guess it's a choice you make. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. How are you today?
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're hearing you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Miss Minute. That gentleman that just speak a while ago.
Yes.
He is saying that Haile Selassie do not die. But I cannot understand them because Haile Selassie is not God. Haile Selassie is a man like anybody else. Haile Selassie never go on the cross for nobody. He never go on the cross for nobody sin, you know.
But he believed in Christ. So.
Jesus Christ go on the cross and die for the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that there is what is recognized in our Constitution as freedom of religion, a freedom to believe in what we choose to worship?
But what they are saying, I will not believe it this minute because
no, that's why I asked. That's why I asked you.
Not God.
I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm asking you if you believe that persons are free to maintain their own religious beliefs.
Yes, they are free to say what they want to say, but I'm not going to believe them
because you are free. Because you are free to believe in what you choose to believe in. The same freedom that you enjoy, he enjoys it too, and so that is what he believes. And do you know what?
That is what he believes, but I am not going to believe it.
Nor do I. Neither do I.
Right.
Neither do I. But I cherish his right to believe it. I cherish his freedom to believe it. And a part of why, one of the reasons why I cherish it is because as I enjoy my own freedom, I know that in time his heart may be convicted to believe in what I believe in, and that is the power of the God that we serve. That he is the one who convicts and changes the hearts of man so they can come into a right understanding and a right relationship with him. So
that's why every must know God for ourselves.
That is absolutely.
Coming to you
Absolutely.
Exactly know that is foolishness.
And what we believe in, because I think you and I share similar beliefs, what we believe in tells us that every man must be convicted in his own heart of the things he believes in. So if that man has a full conviction that what he believes in is right, we leave him until it changes.
And the important thing is,
well, he can believe in what he wants to believe in, but I'm not to believe.
No, we understand. We understand that, That's why we
are
open to
steadfast in our faith.
Yeah. Because even when Jesus walked, he was making some declarations, and people say, we don't believe that. Him say, okay, we leave it at that. And I'm not going to kill them over it, because everybody has to come to their own conviction in their hearts. But then there's what a call online keeps telling me, that what I'm saying is just opinion, I'm saying, but there's a historical fact, because same way he has his history books and so on, are the same history I read. So then why is it necessary? So don't lick me hard for it. That's all right.
And you are in no way distracted by it.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. You too.
Yeah, man.
Stay strong in the faith.
Bye.
Bye. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning, Miss Minette and Pastor P.
Good morning, sir.
And the producer.
He's saying good morning.
No, Miss Minette.
Yes, sir.
I have a few things we have.
Sure.
The first one, Jesus born in, it is written in Luke 2 where Jesus born. And in Revelation 12, it is written where another man born. Could it be the same Jesus?
I you know,
I missed something.
He said
Luke 2.
In Luke 2, Jesus' birth is described.
Right.
And then in Revelation, another man born.
Revelation 12.
In Revelation 12, the birth of another man is described. Could it be the same Jesus?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not even looking at it. But you gotta tell me what is in your heart now, because we're not gonna do a walk through the scripture
this morning.
It's a thing with the world,
Yes.
The world misinterpret the Bible.
Okay.
And many people have it different way. That's why you see we have so many religions. But to come to the knowledge of the Bible is only Jesus can lead you to it.
You have to get the revelation.
By your own self.
Okay.
All right, Branch, we have to take a break now. It's time for our station break, 9 o'clock. Can you stay with us?
We'll try.
Okay, good.
We'll be right back.
Let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, lies prefer to truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double G Don, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith that God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record Label at Gmail. Almighty Jah!
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great. It's my station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Keep listening.
Best 100.5 FM brings you youth empowerment and resilience. A 30-minute program with Bolton McLaren every Monday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Your Monday nights will not be the same again. Managing stress, trauma, let's talk on youth empowerment and resilience with Bolton McLaren on Best 100.5 FM every Monday from 7:30 to 8 p.m.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in. Best 100 FM.
The Aeronautical School of the West Indies presents SQUAD 876, a fun and informative program where you will learn about flying, aircraft systems, weather, maintenance, and much more. Tune in to Best 100 FM this and every Wednesday at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Veg Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to our callers on hold. Welcome.
Welcome, Miss Minette.
Mr. Branch. All right.
I'll tell you something, Miss Minette.
Yes.
I would like to meet with you people, you know.
Well, you know where we are.
You can come in one day, come link with us.
What?
Me I try to do that, but he hard to me. He's a 1 foot man, you know.
Oh, hold on. Which community are you in, Branch?
I am in Tollgate, Newland District in Clarendon.
Tollgate.
Okay.
All right. Earlier this morning, Pastor and I spoke about our 60 for 60. We want 60 communities to commit to a change. And I know that should interest you because you are the branch. And then what we will do is come into the community and do an outdoor broadcast. So maybe I should put Tollgate on our list.
Yes, man. And when you come in, you let me know.
Of course we would. Because you would have to be one of the hosts. You would have to look after us.
Miss Minute, I can tell you something.
Tollgate, Clarendon.
Our foreparents here, not even say our foreparents here, from the throne of David was overthrown by Nebuchadnezzar. It's pure wrong teachment right down the line up till now, you know. The natural truth of God don't start in the land from them time there. Because there are many gods, but is only one true one.
Okay.
And through the action of the many gods, people get life with truth and do not understand what is in the Bible and how to understand it. Because many people, that's why you see we have so many religions, you know. Because this man understand the Bible that way, that man understand it that way, that man understand. And so
yes, the confusion and the absolutely. Well, it's not just the truth is not known, but we don't see it being reflected in the lives of people.
And that is the more important thing for
the
me.
part that occupies our mind on the show. All right, sir. We're gonna take the other call, but I have put Tollgate as one of the communities. We'll talk a little bit more about what we're hoping to see. Newland.
Newland.
Okay.
All right then.
All right, Branch. Because you'd have to be the anchor for that, you know. But
yes, man.
More about that later. All right then. God bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Neville.
Yeah, I'm in the sunshine city of Portmore now, in a place called Bridgeport.
So is that the capital of the parish?
Yeah, that's what we're about to ask.
Pardon me?
Is that the capital of the parish?
Parish of Portmore.
No, the capital of Portmore has not yet been determined at the conference table. But let me tell you, Portmore doesn't reach parish status. They have a political agenda, it's all about money. But let me tell you something about the money this morning.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Now the budget has been cast. The estimate of expenditure, and it's about $9.5 billion in budget, call it $10 billion. But $4.5 billion of that going to pay debt service, pay back the creditors of the country. Pastor.
No, hold on. No, it's 919 billion, and of that 330 is to pay the debt creditors. 503 is for recurrent expenditure, and 65 point something billion is for capital expenditure, which makes up the
but you see in all of those expenditure that you see them have.
Yes.
Money going back to the creditors, and they still have some creditors that they don't bring on the debt yet.
Okay.
Because look here, the government use a cash-based accounting system. man will deal with cash, he not deal with him defer income.
Okay.
All right, Pastor. Morning to your listeners and your callers. Listen this now, Pastor.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear about M1 money?
Yeah, you spoke about that, yeah.
This is that money, the notes and kind that is here.
Yeah, right.
It is less than 10% of the Jamaican economy.
So you're saying it is about the Jamaican, how big is the Jamaican economy in terms of trillion? How much is it worth according to you?
Approximately 2 trillion.
Okay.
But here what the government, the PNP and the JLP government has done us. You see the economy measure of over 100%, right?
Mm-hmm.
That $2 trillion, the country actually won more than that to its creditors. So the debt to GDP ratio is 110%.
Right, that's a lot.
That means the government owes 10% more than what we can produce. And it's that they use and put us back into slavery.
Okay.
Because I have $1,000 in my pocket now, right? But I'll tell you that is only 10% of these $1,000 and $100 and notes and kind is in the economy. They're taking back from us. You see, all the small businesses in Portmore. Hello?
Yes, now we're listening to you, man.
All the small businesses in Portmore, a lot of them too have to close down. They're not doing proper business.
Why you say that?
You see, the worker man, you have some worker man. You have some worker man that ride out of Portmore every day. Go walk people place uptown and all about the town and keep them communities clean like Millsboro and Norbrook and Cherry Garden. And you see, if they could pay them to do that work in Portmore, Portmore landscape would look far better than Norbrook. But the parish council in Portmore is a total waste. And it's time the people of Portmore flush them down the toilet. Portmore is in a filthy mess. And we have so much workman and landscapers living in Portmore that have to come out of Portmore, go look work uptown, because Portmore municipality are run under strict politics and bandola business.
So it obviously is going to be necessary as part of the discussions about constitution of a parish.
I'm going to give you two suggestions.
That economic issue is solved, yeah.
And I want to take it to your next board meeting. You see this radio station here?
Yeah.
It is the fastest growing radio station in Jamaica. And we have to need social workers on the ground. Every community, Best FM must try and encourage 10 members of a community or 5 to do some social work for them on the ground. And the listeners to Best FM, those who can afford it, we need to set up a trust fund where we can help some of the disabled people who listen to this show.
Well,
because look here, the Disability Act has been passed yesterday. You know?
They did.
Hello?
Yeah, man. We know the regulations came into being. Yeah, we know. And
as we speak, a lot of phone calls coming in and telling people how the disability of this country, the disabled of this country, is being treated like dodo.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a serious thing going on the ground, you know?
And that is not new information because it was so before the act was passed. This morning, this morning we spoke about at 60. We want as Best FM Morning Connection. We want to promote and mobilize 60 communities for change. So
I'm volunteering to become a social worker for Best FM in any community.
Thank you.
And listen this now.
Yes.
Yeah, come on, what people you think listen to Best FM?
You know, Neville is something I want to know. Because we have not done the media surveys.
I put it at about 30,000. And you say we can get 10,000 people who listen to Best FM to contribute $1,000 every year. We can help some people through a trust fund. Every year, 10,000 times 1,000 for 1 year. We don't want to worry for money. Because people have to use that and earn them own money and generate cash flow.
Well,
because
Neville,
it is war for the money.
You have been recruited. You're the Ministry of Finance for the 60 and 60.
Pastor.
I'm listening.
For change.
You preach in a church in Jamaica.
Yes, sir.
When God tell the man who write the Bible, said, tell the people them say the love of money is the root of all evil. That joke that I make?
No, it wasn't a joke. And Jesus came and says, you have to choose.
And when God tell the man who write this in the Bible and say, the woman has 2 daughters, one God bed with gimme, with one tea and wake up with gimme a joke that I make?
Mr. Wonder, what is that? One tea and gimme?
You never hear the Proverbs when the mama party and I say, she have 2 women, 2 daughters, and them go out them bed with one tea and wake up with gimme. You never read that in the Proverbs yet?
No, me not. That sound like Jamaica.
Lord, Pastor, that's one of my favorite Proverbs. Look here. Let me leave you with this, Pastor.
Yeah, you just taught us something there.
Pastor, yesterday was Valentine's Day. Eh?
Yes, sir.
Every hotel on the back road full yesterday.
Okay.
Me I tell you that, because I have my contacts around here.
Also,
and look here. Transactional sector run country and it mash up communities, yeah?
That's true. We agree with you. Okay.
Pastor, I'm going to ask you this. Miss Minute.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you a question, but you don't have to answer.
Oh, thank you for that.
And I hope I'm not being impertinent on the radio station, but I have to ask you this minute.
Yes.
Me name Never, right?
Mm-hmm.
When me supposed to get money, every time I want to wake my whistle, me supposed to get 5,000 for pay people to have intercourse with them till me get at my age. Where me get it from?
I don't know. All right.
One of the things we have to use to solve crime, every man must have the woman, yeah?
All right. That one I can't answer, so I give up. All right, Neville, thanks. I think we have another caller too, so I appreciate Neville volunteering for that project because I am going to take advantage of it. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yes, blessed good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Yes. Come on. Yes, you know, it's at this morning the thing where they were telling about the copyright.
No, it wasn't this morning. She came on to talk about it, but it's actually on the 24th of February. And I remember I had you in mind for it. So she'll be on radio from 2 to 5 o'clock this evening. I'm sure she'll talk about it again. So you can get some more information. Yeah, and I can also give you the email because you have to email her to register for the program.
Okay.
So, you want it now, or you can write? You can write it down now.
Yeah, so I'm starting to know, but definitely
All right, we have it here. You know where to
so
find
you can call her back this evening from 2 to 5.
Mm-hmm. Or just call the station. You can get her email address.
Papa get out no email and family never hear this morning.
Yeah.
Man, when you branch?
Branch, mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, you know that man, I have some power and I'm powerful, man. So that, I mean, listen, I know, that future, man, can listen to.
Yes.
But, you know, man, 100% in a none, because God alone, and Jesus alone is perfect. So, but the point when I make it, that, remember, say, Abraham is a man of righteousness and no man is perfect. And God alone, Jesus alone is perfect upon this land. But most of the man say, the man right now, many. Understand? That some people are worship God wrong, you know, and put in man tradition. So a righteousness God want, nothing less than righteousness. I see inside the man there, told you, that place some level for the liquor to run through the toll gate and send to them. That's that part. Original sister, may have been getting read from my. Then we are walking this time to told you. And same thing going into so is that if you can that will start to man there, your man.
Yeah.
The entire is to go to another environment, you know, pour up to the top more. But your man can told you start what I was here. I will go, you know, but definitely what man says nothing less than righteousness because I got the name called because in Zechariah so it tells us, and the Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one Yamawa. And Jeremiah 23 tells us, his name shall be called our Lord righteousness. So this is that there, a 1 year. 1 year more. Because even Psalm 23, verse 3, they lead in the path of his righteousness, for his name's sake. His name is righteousness. That's Christ's righteousness. And so, you know, go again, nobody can plead the blood of Jesus against nobody again. But we come to teach. And even if everybody has their own idea and one thing, we agree. But still we have the responsibility to tell people if they want to reject it, no problem. It's just like how Ezekiel 2, verse 6 to 7 tell them. Say, even if you speak upon the heart of people and you don't want to agree with it, you never find nobody. But they want to own and worship this whatever they want to worship. But the right name, you can't know the truth and hide it. Like I get being quiet and spanking and the Almighty the Most High. You have to tell them. So and just have a feet and move after, you know, agree, no problem. But you still have a responsibility to show the youth them the truth and the people them. Our responsibility to teach you them righteousness. You know, responsibility everybody still know, but who know, but the younger one, generation, come up.
All right, righteousness. Thanks. Yes. Thank you for it. So, thank you for your point. We have another call, all right?
Yeah, man. So, but you have to see that, you know, everybody cannot write.
Yeah, that's true. But we'll see how that comes. All right.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning. My second time around. I have a burning issue from over the weekend.
Okay.
This is for Pastor, really. It's about sport.
Yeah, what happened now?
No, I bought the Sunday Green, I see where some top guys from Kingston, I guess they're all not from Kingston, but they're headlining in the paper, calling for the JFF president to resign.
Mm-hmm.
Did you saw that?
Yeah.
But they didn't like that man from the beginning, even before he won. They didn't like him.
But a lot of people felt that way. A lot of people felt that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's this man that used to play football for Jamaica. Can I call his name?
Sure. Was it Mr.
Ali
Barnes?
McNabb.
Oh, thought it was. Oh no, he never played. Yeah, go ahead.
What about Ali now?
I heard Ali McNabb saying on national TV that the 12 man wouldn't make a difference. That guy must be sick in his head or he's getting old. Too old.
And you need to understand it is the 12th man, you know. The 12th man in sporting term is normal the audience that comes, and that is very important in any game. So if you watch Premier League and so on, you go to certain clubs.
Ali said it wouldn't have made a difference to the outcome in that particular game. You think he's wrong?
No, because
you think Ali was wrong?
Yeah, I mean, not most people don't.
He's wrong.
No, we don't.
So
agree
you agree with the caller then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I was asking him to talk about 12 man, but a lot of people don't understand what is a 12 man in a game. It's not a substitute that come off the bench. Talking about the audience. Do you know that? You didn't know that?
Of course.
Okay, well.
If me know, me guarantee you say all the unborn.
All right, my dear.
The unborn child.
But you know, and I think it was made in the context that people are saying, how come they're allowing people to come to Gibson Relays?
Yeah.
And they're not allowing, they never allowed people to do the football. And
but shouldn't you look at what he was saying, that the way the game was played and the outcome of it, not even the 12th man could have made a difference. That's what
he don't know about that.
The 12 man would make a difference, will make a difference in anything you're doing, whether sport or anything like that.
And that's his opinion. Yeah.
Yeah,
so you mean we could have won that match if more people were there?
Yeah, there are people in the stadium, spectators. Some people figured so.
But so we have never lost a match with spectators?
Yes, we lost match with spectators, but you can never tell.
But you see,
you can never tell.
Yeah, but the two of you are acting as if that whenever you're playing to your home crowd, you always win.
You don't always win, but it is a major force in you always win.
So this man who is a professional footballer who has played at the highest level, unlike you, the caller, and you, Percy, says that the game was such that not even the 12th man could have made a difference. And the two of you in your armchairs are saying that it's
hold on. Stop. You played sport, we have played sport. Me play sport, and I tell you, the spectators and the supporters lift you when you're down in a game.
I know they do, but here is a professional saying that particular game was such that not even your 12th man would have made a difference.
Miss Minute, we're not sure.
Miss Minute.
Yes.
Don't you see my point?
I don't see it.
Ali McNabb. Don't you know who he is?
Of course I know who he is. He's a professional. He's a professional footballer.
And what else?
No,
and what else?
I think He's in the government.
You want to say
the government.
You want to say he has ambitions. He has ambitions to fire the president.
Yes.
All right, we have another caller.
Government.
All right.
He's a big capitalist.
All right. Okay. I was thinking about him as a footballer.
The matchman talking about giving $1,000. You hear him?
Oh, Neville?
Neville.
Yes.
I agree with him. I would give $1,000.
All right, that's what come for it.
That.
Yeah, man. So what we doing? The trust to help people, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I would give $2,000 to right now is to see Reno football from Westmoreland get back in the Premier League or build back the team.
All right, I think you need to talk to Ali McNabb.
No, not him. No, not him. I want to find Wendell Downswell, but I don't know how to contact him.
Well, you've said it out loud on Mess FM. 10 people know him and will contact him for you.
And by the way, that guy came for his tulpan. You remember? Talked to you about the tool.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, man. Thank you, man.
Oh, my goodness. So did he hear about it on radio? Because that's what that would make my day.
I'm not sure, but he came for it and I gave it to him. And I asked him to check it and he didn't check the bag.
Well, the man was just grateful that someone was honest and caring enough to do something about it. So I congratulate you on that too.
And that is what Jamaicans are made up of.
Wonderful. All right, my brother. Let's take another call. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
How are you, Corey?
I'm okay. How are you guys?
We're good. Did you get the budget finally?
No, they don't have any more copies of it. I can't seem to get it online either.
Well, I tell you. Can you imagine? That is something that should not be defeating us. Just like how I went online to look for the regulations under the Disabilities Act and can't find it. Those are really simple things that should not overcome us. But it looked like Neville have a copy.
It's here. You know.
Hold on. Pastor. Yeah. Pastor Percy has found it online, so maybe if you go back, you say it's there now.
We're online.
When they go to the government, that's where I found it.
MOF?
Yeah.
Okay, I was on it yesterday, I never saw it. Yeah, I spoke to Julian Roberts yesterday.
Oh, wonderful.
What are you saying?
I've never to the half year, but I disagree what he said, but to the half year.
Okay, all right. Can't tell us half year, yeah.
What's your position though?
Well, the deal between Alliance and Status Quo with Nabayas keeping that in and seeing that the company was the one that scored the penalty. And also that Alliance is not the only company in the country doing lending foreign currency to the person illegal. But they were targeted.
Well, some time ago, an announcement was made that 6 banks were under investigation, or 6 financial institutions, licensed institutions, were under investigation for alleged improprieties in the financial sector. So right away it tells you it can't be just Alliance, because they had 5 other institutions under investigation. We've only seen what has come out with Alliance, unless Alliance account for 2 of them, because there were 2 or 3. But anyway, so it sounds as if whatever the conversation you had, it has not shifted you in your position that there is an inherent conflict of interest in how this transaction.
As a matter of fact, he said that somebody was over the weekend as well.
Somebody was what? Corey, never heard that.
Discussing it with him over the weekend. Yeah. But there is a position that he has that I can't understand that you want to come out the right way.
Yes.
Okay.
But guess where I'm at?
Where are you?
I am on Trafalgar Road between the 2 alternative central banks.
The two alternative central banks behave yourself.
And you know that Sagicor, not Sagicor, that DNS has a building
across from NCB's. Yes, I think it was a deliberate configuration.
Yeah, because remember NCB was there, and then you see Scotia come up, move from they're downtown still, but they move right across there.
One of the Super Plus
became
used to be in that building that has become BNS's.
And also, I think we need to have a look at the war between Russia and Ukraine. Although tensions are rising, I don't necessarily think that there will be a war.
Some people think otherwise.
I think that's one of the things that Putin want to get friends to go up.
Yeah, posturing for economic gain.
These tensions can significantly increase gas price. I think, I don't know about yesterday, there was about 2% increase in gas. Right off the bat. So, and they have also cut production and support. So, they're really tightening to bring up the price, increase the demand to bring up the price.
My friend.
That's the thing that Mr. Putin wants to do that.
How can't you get richer? Really but it's almost. It will not happen now because and as you said, it is for economic push, because when you move the price of oil close to $100 a barrel, who gets squeezed?
The poor consumers.
They get squeezed.
The necessity has to be bought, so.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that we have to think about. And I keep telling people, the oligarchs, the elites, really do not care about the majority of the world's population.
And I think the US is about 158 now.
Yeah, that's where it is at.
I think the alternative central bank might give us an ease soon.
Okay.
I think they might give us an ease soon.
The alternate central bank, I like it.
They determine the price. So.
Okay, all right. Too bad.
So I think they might give us an ease soon, but we're heading to the 160 mark. We're racing to it in very big time. But I think they're very easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So thank you, Corey. We're coming up onto the break. It's 9:30 as we speak. Thank you.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Keep listening.
There will be days when you're too tired to move, to drive, but you think you have to because your vehicle won't wash itself, right? But no, you don't have to visit a car wash. 123 Mobile Car Wash will come straight to you. Yes, you heard right. 123 Mobile Car Wash is offering services in Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine. We shampoo and detail cars, trucks, offices, and more. No job too small. Call us at 876-631-3400. 123 Mobile Car Wash. We come to you.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in. Best 100 FM.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggett Park Road. Vijay Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Morning welcome call. As we talked about football, somebody online has says that Jamaica does not have a football team. It's a pick-up bunch of players. GFF has poor leadership. Well, that has always been the argument, but you see what is happening with African footballers. We have a call online? Oh no, yeah.
Pastor, there's a knee-jerk reaction,
African.
Just say good morning, caller.
Yes, you know that it is.
You're prophetic. The caller not on the line.
But he's there now.
That's true.
But we salute Senegal that won the African Cup of Nations recently over Egypt. And it was two teammates playing against Mane versus... You have a call online.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah. Pastor.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. And good morning to Minute.
I live, and I said good morning. I don't know if you hear.
We didn't hear.
You didn't hear. Yeah, there was a break in the... Yeah. What's up, my brother?
Yeah, man. Look, I live and I learn to live. I hear Neville said something. You see, which I don't agree with him.
That's all right. Freedom to agree.
I want you to spell it out for me.
Okay, what is that now? You spell out your point, man.
Yes, Neville said,
mm-hmm.
So how the government is running, you see?
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, boy, the country is paying more than it earns. And directly when we look on it, we complain that teachers must get more pay, police must get more pay, and etc. and etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now tell me something. When your country starts on a burden, you see, and you know, so boy, what you the international a whole lot of cash. Don't you have to know you take your hand out and lay them out?
Yeah, but okay.
Let us not analyze what Neville said. I want you to
that's what we said.
what
your
think.
counterpoint to what Neville has
yes.
said.
No, but what I say about that. Neville should he's a finance.
Yeah.
And he should know that the government, any of the government do a thing like that, you see?
But what do you want to teach us this morning?
It will bring inflation, and it will cause the government to print dollars, monkey money like what they done in the 70s. So we have to take time and know what to do and do things by order. And if the country do not grow, we cannot give increase.
Sheppy, none of what you're saying makes sense. Nothing that you're saying makes sense to me.
All right, you
not
tell
a
me
thing
why.
You're saying.
No, if I spend more than if I spend more than I earn, what will happen to me?
But Cheppy,
we are spending more than we earn
for the longest time.
So that means that we are in darkness. Then that means
we are in darkness. Everything we're trying to do, even on this show, we're trying to shine a light to get us out of where we are. There is no point in Jamaicans getting into crosstalk about which government did it better. The reality is we need to produce more. We need to spend less on things that are not necessary.
That's right.
We need to produce and feed ourselves right here and import less. So that's the conversation that we want to have. I am really not in...
Good.
Yes.
Take cash to care. And this government lack of that.
It take cash to do everything.
The little that the government accumulate, you have to spread it out like a butter upon table. So tell me something, when you cannot reach the amount, what will you have to do? Maybe have printing monkey money.
Sheppy, listen, Sheppy, stop.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you something. Do you remember what happened when they had set a plan as to how they were going to work it out, and it wasn't worth the paper that was written on? Under which government was that?
But Pastor, it look like you work against me now.
I am trying to. He does that, and I'm saying to him,
but we don't want to do that.
We must come up
want
with
Jamaicans.
solution.
We want Jamaicans to stop getting caught up in what the PNP did and what the JLP did and who's doing it better or worse.
People look here. Some of the police right now, some of the police now go by order, because if they can go on the road, and make their own money, and we must tell them so the country is not producing as much, so we have to satisfy anything.
How do we change?
But
Shebby, and the country is not growing because of what taking place.
But Sheppy, I disagree with you on that.
Well,
if we are working,
but that's me see because me have my
right,
home.
Sheppy.
Me can go bar, me can go shop every minute go trust.
No, but you should hear what I'm disagreeing with first, because maybe we are in agreement. I disagree with your solution that we should tell the police that we don't have enough money to pay them well. I think if we are working people and want them to perform well, we must organize our priorities so that they get paid well. So, for example, you've heard Pastor Percival say, instead of wanting to spend $7.8 billion to build a house for Parliament to sit, let's use that money to do something else. Neville was talking about the high level of debt and the priority that we give to servicing debt. Maybe this is a time when we should have tried to write down debt and renegotiate some things so money is freed up from debt servicing. We've been talking about the Constitution, that the Constitution sets a priority list for how we spend money that puts the creditors first all the time above citizens. Maybe we need to make some changes there and shift our priorities. That's the kind of conversation we want to have.
You know me what I never see talk about?
Yes.
Tell the government, say, look here, brother, this amount of car that coming in the country, we cannot afford that. Already people have the money for overseas and come here with it. But look here, the country cannot afford those because when you check it out, 4 persons live in a one home, and the 4 of them have a car, and actually 2 of them work one place. And the gas right now, wait to take the government to take foreign exchange to buy. It cannot work out. We have to hold. And if my people and that are hold for things that go happen.
So now you say something.
We have to put things on the right side of life.
No, you're saying some things that I like. No, you're saying some things that I like.
Just like how you run your home.
If your home is well run.
Run the country.
If your home is well run. So we have to know good household economics so we can learn how to pool resources and distribute things in a way that is fair and equal. I love your conversation this morning. Now that we have
I am saying something to you. Come more specific, my brother.
What do you think?
Nonsense.
What do you think?
Because we don't put your foot on the brake. They can't go run away.
What do you think about Neville's suggestion that people pool together resources at the community level and help each other? A trust fund that works in communities.
There's some people doing that,
Yes, so
more people doing it.
Glad to know, boy, we can think positive because you have money, I mean, I have none. If me not nonsense, me
there you go. Yes.
And when me check the name of capitalist, a person who takes money and make money.
Yeah.
Because me have my me not going on big school, but me have a little dictionary. When me hear something, me go and look up for it. So there's nothing wrong.
Not a thing wrong with being capitalist.
Make money because me see when we started out to do business, and me see how that business run.
Yes.
And it grow. That means you can do things with my money and really help myself
and help others.
All right, excellent.
And help others.
We do that.
Yeah.
The Bible is my compass.
Listen to me, man. You know you're talking my language.
Pastor, when you hear somebody say, sell your garments and take it by a soul. Even hard to think those kind of way, those part of Bible made me dump it. Because a man, ignorant man, right in the part of Bible.
Well,
who serve the devil will think that way.
All right.
But properly understood, though, Sheppy, it is telling you that religion is worthless if you can't defend yourself. And defending yourself is not just with sword.
Somebody come at my house here and hold me up. And when you hold me up, he said, I was in a company. As he said, just cool, man. I buy say cool, boom. me hold the handle. Boom. Me hold
the knife. What was it?
The sharp part and if I'm start for murder. Me never hear I say, well, me say murder. And me try to grab him and me say, praise God, me now go dead again. And then me start, God give me a strength in the words stronger than face Samson.
Yes.
And me lick it on a dot, me take with the knife, And I say, no, me can't hurt him.
Ah, see.
I'm making it up around. People coming in my house and say, Lord God, you have food. We can kill the bitch.
No. Mercy.
My heart not to do that.
Yes.
All right, then.
And so you're...
Me say, look here, I know everybody are going to stay like this,
Yes.
So stay, they don't change the evil way here.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning,
all
sir.
right, Chippy.
All right, Chippy. Thank you for that this morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning, Santa.
Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Santa, you come back.
Yeah, come forward, man.
Come forward. Yes. What's up?
Whenever I hear Sheppy talk, me have to call, to get the chance to get through.
You can't resist it.
Because I am the main person always hitting out against capitalists.
Oh, so you all right. So what are you hitting against capitalists this morning? Because we need that capital,
Yeah, we need the capitalists, but did you know that most capitalists, they are the problem that the world is having right now?
Explore that some more.
Say the truth.
No man, you explore. You tell us what you mean. Yes.
Look,
the producers of the conduct the survey.
Even if you check the two parties in this country right now, one is more socialist, even though they're not that much
their talk
socialist. Again, but they still have a little in their blood. But the ruling party is a capitalist party.
Okay.
And they're more corrupt. And don't tell me that it's not true. It is true.
Okay.
This party is always more corrupt than the other party. I don't say it, two of them, no do wrong. But one worse than one.
Okay.
Yeah, well.
And if you notice right now, all the lands I see buying out, who is getting the land? The rich capitalists. The poor people now get none.
Well, you see something now, when you put it like that, it is only the people who have money can buy things, I can assure you that if the poor people have money, they would have buy things too. At which point now it will be all capitalists.
Who set the system like that?
That's not a system really. Yes.
Did you know that the rich country deliberately do things to keep us poor so we can work for them as gardeners?
But that is, it's not those rich and poor countries, and I just say, man, generally in their heart.
I was thinking about it and saying, because poor man are try to keep poor man down.
Yeah, so it's not we want to do it, but if you bring it down to the micro level, that's how people operate.
Yeah.
We operate from a principle of scarcity, not saying that there's sufficient for everybody to get a piece of the pie.
But that's not where it started, People do it. Some people want more than some.
Right, so you agree with them.
I am not like that.
All right, good. Bless God. So you have to bring about the change, as I said.
Because it's the changed man who can resist the worldly approach.
Yeah, man.
Look, chef is wolf in sheep clothes. He must try to be good too,
All right, that's all right.
To get what? to get what? We have milk?
Food will not cut him.
So we not cut him. Oh, but you see.
Yeah, just that.
Oh, well,
cannot change. Well, a leopard cannot change this spot.
Okay.
All right. Well, I thank Sheppy for his courtesy because we wouldn't cut him anyway.
All right. Bless God.
So it's good that he's trying.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, my brother.
All right.
Take care. There's another call. Oh, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Miss Rach.
I'm fine, thank you. It's all this defense of the government, or those who say they are government. It's time people open their eyes. And, it's very sad because you walk around this country from town to town, city to city. It's in a filthy state. The money that's been paying out to councillors are not being spent. You've got All right, take those for instance. I have no other marketplace to go unless I go to Linstead or Spanish Town, okay? And the two of them work out to be the same, right?
In
now,
terms of
in
what,
Spanish
price?
Town, you've got some small green spaces where some of the people on the streets can go into, like a little tiny little park, right? And so they could go in there and conduct their business and get off the street, you know, to enable people to have places to walk, etc. In the town centers, when it rains, if you go, whether it's Spanish Town, you go anywhere.
Oh, my sister,
the place
don't talk
is
about...
full of water. Over 20 years since I've been back and forth here. You're talking about the same. Nothing has been changed.
Yeah.
If you ever in the country, in the town center, believe me, Pastor and Minute, when it rains, you need a Wellington boot.
It's not a joke, you know.
Right?
It's a serious thing, Rachel. And as somebody who has links to Spanish Town, it has gotten worse. And what has happened too, they have built up a lot of communities round about it that people have to come in, and it hasn't improved. It is, when rainfall, it is filthy. And even before rainfall, it is filthy. So can you imagine the water plus the muck that is there? It is
and everything else that's been left over, sewage and things.
Yes.
So, and I am really going to have a go with a couple of them banks as well, because you have to conduct business in the place, whether you live around there or not.
So
right?
are we identifying
and
that...
They should make sure that the place is accessible, smelling good, looking fresh, you know, a breath of fresh air. Money are paying out to councillors who are paying, I don't want to say certain things at this moment, right?
So, Rachel.
Councillors don't need protection.
Rachel.
What the town centre needs is to be cleaned up. From you clean your city, you can tell what kind of government you have when your city centres are clean.
Hello?
Yes?
Were you listening to our program earlier when we talked about the 60 communities for change?
Yes, I heard you.
Are you identifying?
I think you should do the town centre and the city centre.
All right, so I'm writing it down. Which one is it now?
Linstead.
You got Spanish Town, okay, and you have Linstead, and not all of them, because I've been around, but I've been to Spanish Town more because I'm more closer to that area.
So I'm writing down Spanish Town and I'm writing down Linstead, but you understand that you would have to be prepared to spearhead the mobilizing of this force for change in those two town centers. I'm not afraid of it, but I want to know that I'm putting down Rachel.
What I'm saying is, I mean, I don't mind, in a sense, right? But what I'm saying is, who is responsible? We need the person who is responsible to clean these places to come forth, because they are getting money to do so.
So part of the effort will be to command the accountability of those persons and to work relentlessly to see it done. We're not going to just talk about it and leave it. It's ownership in the communities, but it does need to be anchored by people in the communities.
All right.
Yeah. And furthermore, they're talking about people not supposed to live in a town center on the street, just some, rotten fences and things like that and garbage everywhere.
So we're going to take pictures of what we're talking about. So we're going to take pictures of the environment, target the things that we want to see change, and get on it. Let's see if we can't start something different in this country.
You know what we need as well?
Yes.
A film person to go around and film these areas, what we're talking about.
Well, that's what I mean when I say we need to take pictures.
The camera that you have do it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let the world see what it is that we are talking about.
All right, Miss Rachel. Thank you very much for that is causing us to end on the right note.
Yeah, they're a second corner artist. It's time to move forward. The place is filthy dirty.
All right then, Rachel. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, my dear.
As we wrap up the program this morning.
Yeah, we're wrapping up this morning.
Taki makes a very important point. He says all these semantics of ideologies, capital, socialist, whatever, are recent
are recent in these contemporary centuries, yet the same practices were over many centuries, of which China is a part.
And it's true.
Yeah.
It's an excellent point.
That's why I tell you, I don't get caught up in what's in a name. I just want to look at the practice, I look at where we want to go, I map my movement towards it. Sometimes you have to make sure that people understand what you're talking about. And so the name and the, we've reprised a few words here and tried to recover them and make sure that people are all talking about the same thing. But beyond that, it's human behavior. Two things that don't change: human behavior and God's character.
True.
But God's character can bring about a reversal in the other one.
It does.
Yeah. But over time, we see man going to this, so can plan on it.
Over time.
Thank you very much to the callers, those who have chatted with us online.
And people have laughed at us.
Tumblebug said we must tell Rachel that nobody flings stone in an empty mango tree. JLP a leaf on fire.
No, JLP a lead. So must fling it after them.
Oh, I see. Lead. Okay. So, yeah, oh, yes, and Taki reminds me, isn't that the same point you're pointing out earlier this morning, Minette? Yes, it is. And so we're ending on that note, a commitment to change. 60 for 60 for every year of Jamaica's, so-called independence.
Independence, whatever, so-called independence.
From 1962.
Yeah.
We'll count it. So we're going to go for communities for change. And I love it that some things are rising to the top. And I think the energy of the people and the desire to have an impact will carry us into the next season. Thank you to the engineer and the producer. Thank you, Pastor Percival. You showed up and you brought your game.